Logic just got
Oh wow.
just got it. So I can go in there, do the stem split.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It changes the game.
yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, man. Just a little bit of VR whenever I can, and I wish I could jump back into Prince of Persia, but one of those big mistakes we always say: certain games you cannot put down because you'll forget the controls,
Hmm.
forget where you need to go, forget what you were supposed to be doing. So, and
Yeah.
that's one of them. And I'm like, okay, I'll either have to start over or just try to truck on through. But those have been my two go tos for right now.
Okay. Dark Void says he's been playing Hellblade 2. It's a 6 out of 10. The combat is bad. We've been talking about the combat
Really?
for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I even behind the scenes, I was talking to Juice about it, and he was like, "Man, he's like the combat. He's like, I don't. He's like, look at the combat because I had never really watched it, and he was
Right.
like, do you think this combat is good?" And I said, you know what? It reminds me of. I said it reminds me of real boxing too, like just
Okay.
hitting the R and the L to just kind of get dodge out of the way, and then you do your little
Hmm.
attack or whatever. And I showed him that, and he was like, "Dang!" He's like, "Besides the camera angle, he's like, this looks
Hmm.
exactly the same." I was like, "It." I mean, watching it, it looks just like real boxing too.
But that begs to like so that brings up the question of what did you work on? Because the first one, if somebody told me Hellblade had 6 out of 10 combat, I would say yeah. Because I mean the combat was whatever.
Right.
I expected them to at least improve on it. That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that it's a step back from the first one.
Oof, that makes it worse.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if it was maybe they were trying to make it more um, not user friendly. That's not the word I want to use, but like consumer friendly. You know what I mean? To I don't know, but
I guess.
that I don't
So it
know.
seems like they just spend their time making it look pretty, opposed to
Yeah,
improving the gameplay.
yeah,
Wow, that's disappointing.
yeah. So
Wow.
Chanel said I've been playing Bayonetta 1 on the Switch, kicking my butt, by powering through, keep
Yeah.
comparing on with yeah. I think that game was like really unforgiving with Witch Time. Like
Oh,
you had
it
to be
was.
right on point.
Oh yeah,
That's
especially
why
if you're trying to
two.
platinum.
Yeah, and that's why two was kind of like the best of the three because it had
Hmm.
that kind of that forgiveness on when you witch time.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
so Vito, what have you been
Mhm.
playing lately?
So I've been playing Breath of the Wild, of course. Um, I was
Okay.
on all week.
No, Tears of the Kingdom.
No, Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know why
I'm about to say, what
you
made
know
you go
what?
back?
Yeah, I was actually the reason why I said Breath of the Wild because I was actually thinking about getting it, and I was looking at some stuff. So
Hmm.
just because I was playing Tears of the Kingdom and stuff, just so I can make my own comparisons or whatever
You
and
would have
see.
a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
You would have a lot of fun with it.
yeah. I was thinking about doing that, but yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. Uh, of course, if y'all remember me talking about my last weeks and stuff, it takes me a long time to go through that just because of my ADD. You know what I'm saying? My attention gets
Hmm.
pulled elsewhere with something that falls out the sky, or I'm like, hey, I don't think I
I'm
want to
right
go
there
mess
with you.
with that right there.
I'm right
You
there
know,
with you.
especially with me exploring the depths lately. I've been trying to unlock more of that. So that's been pretty fun. I got all the sages. Yeah. So I got all the sages. Um, so yeah, I'm just having fun with that. You got the master sword, so um, I think that's about it on there. Like I said, I always try to take my time on that. So other than that, I played Hellblade. I started it last week. I haven't picked it back up, so I have to get back into that. As far as the combat, I'm not sure if I can say. Well, yeah, it's a lot easier than the first one. It's not really more of a challenge or anything like that. I kind of hate the dodging aspect of everything. It's just she's over dramatic with it, and you still get hit,
Mm.
Hmm.
and you're like, did you dodge or you got hit? So I don't know.
Was that part of the scene or no?
Right. And by not having like a health bar, you know what I'm saying, you really don't know if you just got hit or not. So it's like, oh snap. But
Wow.
um like I really feel like that game honestly is story driven, psychotic type
Yeah.
driven, you know what I'm saying, just to kind of have you tripped out. Like how would it be in the mind of a person with multiple head like voices in
Mental
their head or
problem.
whatever like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's best to play it in the 3D headphones, of course. I
Yeah.
don't think it's really made for combat per se. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's more to take you on a journey, which begs the differ. Like, why just not make a game that's just focused on
Mm-hmm.
Puzzles
mystical
and stuff
journey?
like
Kind of
that.
Yeah,
like Heavy
puzzles and
Rain.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
So,
man, that sounds so disappointing because even even what you mentioned about the whole psychotic aspect of it,
mm,
in not such a serious dark way, Psychonauts does the same thing.
Mm.
They do a nice play on memory, anxiety, or things that you block off. Like they do a good job of the mental aspect of the things that people go through. They do it in more of a comedic way,
Mm-hmm.
but the combo is still, I mean, the combos, but the combat is still great and it's still relatable in the sense of anything from a psychic standpoint or a mental standpoint. The fact that this game took what 6 7 years to make,
Yeah.
mm,
and Microsoft went out their way to get the game, and
yeah,
the combat is easier, and it seems like it is something that should have been more of a puzzle type ordeal, and it doesn't even seem like it does that well. It sounds like it's just a pretty game.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Nah, they yeah, that I think it was a waste of time. They definitely
Uh,
they definitely kind of recycled some of their stuff along
Mm.
with. It really feels like the you know that teaser trailer we got a couple of years ago where they
oh
had somebody
no, the one where she was walking in and all that.
the one with the big giant, like her
Yeah, the
Yeah, that's the
giant
one I
one.
was thinking
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
yeah,
kept
like
cutscening in you.
it literally it feels like it's directing you to that scene, like where you're
Hmm.
at. Like I guess you know, but it's almost like yeah, I know what's coming type thing. Like it's
Mm.
weird,
Wow.
but even with that, it's just you got to go through the psychotic thing, and if you I don't know if y'all played the first one, but yeah, like the
Hmm.
dad or something like that is in her head, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's some crazy stuff. But
Wow.
I honestly I don't look at it as an action game. It's a storytelling game. It's
Mm.
definitely it's their answer to I don't even want to say that. That's a slap in the face. Uh, I was about to say God of War, but that's a slap in the
It
face
can't
because
be.
All
That sounds like it should have been
right.
a sounds like it should have been a point and click.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But
unfortunate.
other than that, man, that's pretty much all I've been playing. Still have some stuff I have on the back burner, or I gotta get back into or whatever. But those are the two games I just recently start playing or played,
Okay.
whatever. So
Okay. Retro said he picked up Tears of the Kingdom 2. Again, too, so much to do, plus a world you just don't. Yeah. Yeah, that's the struggle. The struggle to pick it up because you know you're about to do a whole lot, and the struggle to put it down because you know you want to do just one more thing.
That's the
mm-hmm.
key problem right there. You gotta have
Um,
time.
yeah. Trinell said to you, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom just proves the potential of a Zelda MMO where you play as a Highland. Yeah, and die real quickly. Nobody else survives. uh, yeah, no, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom too, and I really tried to dial in and focus, and
Mhm.
I lost that focus, but I didn't lose that focus because I was in the depths and I was trying to find, and I'm kind of mad. I'm kind of mad now too that I went to go search for the treasure. I went to go search for this treasure in the depths, and
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, I don't have this area unlocked, so this is about to be a journey. This is about to be an adventure. I got to make sure I'm stocked up. I'm good, right?
Mhm.
I get to an area and it's in the top left, and then it starts to get really hot. So I'm like, straight. Let me just throw on some I think it's like the heat resistance or whatever. And I was like, nah, you don't.
Right.
No, you need the whole suit, bro. No, why are you trying to play me? So I'm like,
Oh
okay,
wow.
let me go back up and go get this suit. And I started to do that, and it was like, nah, you got to kind of follow the beats a little bit in order to get the suit if you want it cheap.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and do this little beats. Finally got the suit, went back down. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. In between those two areas is a couple of the hands or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just make this motorcycle real quick. I'll ride past them. Ride
Right.
past them, get to the fire area. I'm like, cool. I got to make this long cut around to get to where I need to get to in this treasure chest. Mind you, there's all sorts of enemies in between. Like I fought
Hmm.
like maybe 2 or 3 of the what are they called? The lion, the
Lionels.
Lionels, yeah.
Hmm.
And it was like the real the top tier, the white ones. And I'm like, man, bro, whatever
Hmm.
this is about to be like, it better be dope. I finally get there. I get to it's a mine too. So already in my head, I'm like, if it's a mine, whatever I'm trying to get ain't about to be top tier.
Oh
I get to
man.
that boy, kick it, open it up. It's the Wind Waker boomerang, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I told you. I already knew. I already
I
knew.
fell for it. I fell for it.
I
So
already knew.
it's funny because that quest, you know, it ended up costing me a whole bunch, but I ended up killing a whole bunch of Lionel, 3 Lionel for some of the gear and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess take that as part of the positive. But the only thing I'll say about, especially about the weapons when you get there, like
Hmm.
that come from other games, um, uh, I will never use them because to me now they're like a precious commodity. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I got
You
the
don't want to
Wind
lose them
Waker
at all.
boomerang. Yeah, like why
Hmm.
would I ever want to throw that or fuse it with anything? Like it's
Right.
now it's just stuck in my slot until I, put it away somewhere. But it's just one of those situations where you do a huge journey and it's just like, man, I did a huge journey just for another weapon
Mm-hmm.
That's
that's
it.
easily
Yeah.
broken. I would have been fine with a suit or a piece of armor or something
Hey,
like
real
that.
talk. That's how I felt like when I was helping out one of the goddesses statues or whatever, and it
Mm-hmm.
told me to
Hmm.
go get a nail from the ice dragon, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so my whole first, like how I got up there, of course I used the tower, shot up, saw it. It was already riding above me. I was like, oh yeah, there you go. So I get to flying towards it. And then when I get there, I was like, dang, what she tell me to get again? So I forgot. Like, so I just started hacking at him. Got a skill. Then it was like, I got like a rock off his back. And then it was like, I looked at the menu thing and said, no, you need his nail. And I was like, dang. So I jumped off, and I guess he has like, there was like wind blowing up so I can kind of stay in the air. I
Mm-hmm.
started hitting his feet, and nothing was happening. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, once you hit, that's
So
done.
so then he started going to the depths. I was like, oh my God. So then I like grabbed onto him and we go to the depths together. So I'm just riding with him. I'm like, okay, when can I get this nail off? And so I'm thinking to myself, this next time he charge up, right? Next time he
Mm-hmm.
turns blue again. Man, we go through the depths, we go out the depths, we're over another like like we're over like this other land or whatever. And I'm like, you still have not charged up yet. Like, oh my gosh, like what do I gotta do? What I gotta do? Next thing you know, he's like, you're on it. Like, you know how Godzilla kind of is,
Yeah.
you're on. So then he finally lit up. I was like, yeah, there we go. Oh, hit him with it. Wow. Got it. So I had to follow it, but it went down in the dark, not the Lost Forest.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So with the Lost Forest, like
Yeah, you just
with the
can't go
fog,
in anyway.
right?
Yeah,
So now
it'll
I got to
get
do
you.
this whole little like okay, I got to go through like how I got the Master Sword. I had to do that whole little thing, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
I had a shrine in there that I went to. Let me go over there, blah blah blah. Go through that way. Found it. When I found it, went over back to the goddess, put it in the water. Well, first I didn't know to put it in the water, but after a while it just dropped in it, and it was like, oh yeah, you found it, you got it, got it. How come it only gave me a sapphire? Did all that for a sapphire? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. See, what's funny is that like, and it's kind of dope though. Like, even though you hit the claw and it like ended up in the Lost Woods, you could still go into the Lost Woods and be like, found that mug. Like, even though it's shielded off from everything else. So
Right.
yeah, it's crazy. So I've been playing Diablo. We got back into Diablo 4. I've said this a million times. And the new season, I'm playing as a barbarian. I'm gonna definitely say I haven't even played the other classes, but I can tell you without flaw that probably the barbarian is probably the strongest class in that game.
Okay.
You just like they got like a charge move where you just roll over people. It's like even bosses, like, oh, it's a roll over. Oh, you gone. Okay, what's next? Like, it's wild. I I know for a fact that like each season there is a new strongest class or something like that. I don't know if it's necessarily the barbarian for this class, but the game feels like it's on easy and I'm on the highest level for that game. So yeah, we'll see. Eventually, when I get to 100, then I'll move on to another class. But right now, I think I'm only at 72. So
Is that the cap?
no, 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 is the cap, but then they start adding stuff after that. Like
Okay.
now you can get into like higher tiers, if you will, by like rolling your weapons and making them stronger and all that other stuff. But you do that like through trials and like beating levels at a certain time, and then they give you certain affixes to like increase what your stuff already does. So I guess there's like longevity after what is considered the end, but but it's a whole lot of fun. I'm still sticking by it. It's a whole lot of fun. Play some more Tales of Vespera. I finally got to like the main area of like the first original quest, if you will, that set my team out in the first place. And like now that that's kind of done, it's funny because even they're like, so what do we do now? Like, and one of the people was like, well, let's start a guild since we did all this like guild related stuff. Let's start a guild. And they're like, okay, well, let's start a guild. And then they're like, so what do we do as our first mission? And then something happens and they're like, that's our first mission. But it's so funny because they've made it real worldish, if you will, because they've started a mission and then they've went into another town, and then like automatically they're like, what's going on in this town? And they're like, oh, blah 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 blah, and they're like, let's do this as part of our guild quest. And their leader, who's in the guild and on your team, is like, well, we kind of didn't finish our first quest. And they're like, well, but we can just do this on the way to our first quest. And he's like, okay, I guess we can do this as a side mission. I'm like, what the fuck? I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, so it's very fun game. I love the adult humor that's slid into it. A girl asks another girl, like she's like teasing this guy in a scandalous clan. Well, how do you say it? Scandalous clad suit. Yeah, thank you. And she's like, come with me. And he's like, oh, but I got a woman back at home. And she's like, don't worry about that. She's like, just come with me and we can have fun. And he's like, well, and then so the main character, chop to the back of the neck type thing, one of those. And the other girl who's like the princess, and you could tell she's like, she's been hidden away from the world. She's like, what did you mean by having fun? And she's like, going swimming. Oh boy. Going swimming, huh? Like,
Yeah, we're gonna swim. We're gonna swim, all right.
all right. That man is about to drown. You're like, okay.
Dang.
So yeah, but it's a really funny and real good game. So
Okay, cool. Good
um,
stuff.
so now that we move past the icebreaker, real quickly before we get into our main topic, I know Ibbsters, you watched a little bit of the Marvelous Studios showcase. Jack, did you
Didn't see anything.
see any of
Nah.
the
I
Marvelous
watched
or
the very
the
first part and then I turned it off because I was like, this is not for me.
what about the PlayStation one? Did you?
I watched up to a certain point, then I said, this is garbage.
Dang. I at least
Yeah.
saw the Sony one. I went back and watched like the little fast pace thing that IGN be doing
Oh gosh.
to go
And
over
I'm sure it
everything.
was
Yeah.
probably pretty fast.
Yeah.
How did you
I saw some things I like though.
did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there was some stuff that I liked in there too. I'm not gonna hold you up. But
yeah. Like I always say, as long as I have 3 that I can walk away with, I'm fine. Like you could have shown like the best games. As long as I'm good with 3, it's fine.
Okay.
Presentation wise, I don't need you to wow me, not for real. But as long as I get 3 games, and of course, number 1 on my list, Astrobot.
Oh
100%.
yeah.
Like when I tell you I was hot when I saw Astrobot because of some fact I don't have my PS5 anymore. So I'm just like, because at this point, if I give in and I say, you know what, Astrobot is worth it, this would be my triple dip. Because I got it when it first released. Then I was like, you know what, nothing's here. Then when the PSVR 2 came out, I got both. They both let me down. So then I'm like, all right, cool, I'll leave it alone. So Astrobot was cool with me, even though I'm curious about Dynasty Warriors Origins, solely because I'm curious to see if they fix that freaking engine or if they at least have a different engine altogether. And then other than that, I think it was what was the other one that caught my attention?
One that you can't remember the name of. No, I'm just
yeah.
There is one. there is one that I couldn't remember the name of.
I'm blanking, but either way, those 2 for sure. I think it was one of those ninja games that showed up, but it's not due to come out until like 2025 or something like that.
Was it the ballad one? The ballad of
I think so. Yeah. Right. And then and then the PSVR 2 game, which is coming out on Quest 3. I already knew about that game. We just didn't know it was coming to PSVR 2. Behemoth. That game.
Yeah.
So I knew that has been advertised for Quest 3 for quite some time. So seeing it here, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, it's coming. But ultimately, Astrobot was the one. And even when I made my post, like Astrobot could be Sony's Mario or Xbox's Halo. Like it can be that franchise for them. They just have to give it the opportunity. And even though like Dr. A made some comparisons of some things that was in Galaxy and that was in Sunshine and all that other stuff that you see here, I said, hey, look, by all means, throw it all in there. I'm fine. I even saw some things that were from Cameo that were in the game, like having the plants on your fist and being able to swing and do. Look, do your thing. I don't know if they have intent on releasing it on PC because I would hold out. But like I told Vicky, between this and then seeing Stella Buns and I never played Spider-Man 2. So that would be the trio that could kind of bring me back for a minute. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I will say from a show standpoint, I really don't care. Sony's games don't really tickle my fancy like that. Not for real. But Astrobot, I'm glad they showed that.
Okay. Ibbsters, did you watch any of the showcase?
Yeah, I did watch it, but I was paying attention. Well, I don't have a PlayStation, so I did watch it. There was nothing else on at the time, so I thought, oh yeah, let's watch it, see what the state of play is, you know. But there was nothing there for me except Monster Hunter because I'm a big Monster Hunter fan, and I was interested in seeing how that was looking. You know, hoping it comes to Switch 2 in the future.
Yeah.
But you know, but yeah, but
Yeah, we'll see.
I get the vibe that the state of play wasn't very good. Even like Sony people didn't really like it apparently as well. You know what I mean? It's like I see people hyping up Astrobot, and I was thinking, what the sort of tech demo games that what they use is what kind of like state was that presentation? Is that people was like hyping up an Astrobot game as like the second coming, the best thing there, like, but
Yeah, that does
but
say
not being
something.
a PlayStation guy, I went there. I've not even played an Astrobot game, but I always got the vibe that it was kind of like a, you know, like a tech demo thing that like demonstrate features and stuff.
Right.
I don't know if it is. I've seen there's been 3 of them, I think. But it's like
there's 3 of them. I thought this was the second one.
Oh, was there?
No,
I thought it was 3.
Like, what, 4?
I guess was there a VR one?
Wow.
Was there a VR one? Maybe
yeah,
VR
there is a VR one. So yeah, I guess that would make 3. Yeah.
Come out for Astro?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the PSVR had one. Then of course we had the one that came out at the beginning of the PS5, and then this one. So it'll be a third one. Yeah.
I thought it came out in PS4 as well. There was one
Nah.
that came out in PS4.
No,
like the very
it
first
was PSVR.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Dynasty Warriors is all right, actually. I don't mind them. I don't mind Warriors games. So that
I'm
is sort of semi, you know.
All they have to do is give me a created character mode. I don't care. Like we've seen Dynasty Warriors enough to know really how the story is gonna go, because I feel like most of them don't really change off. And like we're at what? Well, this is Origin, so they're like trying to take it way back. But I think at some point we were at Dynasty Warriors like 9 or 10 or something.
Didn't it say unnamed hero on the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hero itself. Yeah.
So maybe it is a custom.
I hope so.
It might be.
So, because that was one thing. It's not Dynasty. What's the one that's just like Dynasty Warriors that they do? Samurai Warriors?
I think it is Samurai Warriors. Yeah.
Yeah, and that one had a custom
as well, isn't there? There's a Capcom sort of Warriors game, apparently. Yeah, but there's not very many of them. I don't think.
So I'm hopefully, like, if they have a creative character mode, I'll definitely jump on there, because I'm a whore for samurai games.
I'm about to say it makes sense.
Yeah. Vito, you said you didn't really.
No, I mean I watched it, but like I said, it didn't catch my the same stuff that y'all saying. Like it didn't catch my fancy. Like I stopped at a certain point. So I got to when they got to what was that one where I was like, nah.
I can see you being that way too. Like watching log up, like nah.
It was one of the remakes, or not the remakes, or remasters coming to PS5. Can't remember if it was what's the joint with every celebrity on
it? Every celebrity. And it was shown at this?
Until Dawn.
Oh, Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when I was like, y'all kind of lose me.
Yeah, that was a remake too. Remake or remaster?
Remaster.
I don't even know anymore at this point.
Yeah.
So like when it got to that point, I was like, yeah, whatever. But other than that, I mean, me watching pretty much stuff that's already like I've seen, you know what I'm saying? Like announced or whatever like that. I watched Geronimo play Rivals. You know what I'm saying? Marvel Rivals and stuff like that on this open beta or that closed beta thing or whatever. So I already knew that was, I'm already hyped up for that already. So I was like, you're showing me stuff I already know about. It just was, lackluster. Like you showing me that God of War is coming to PC. I played it on. Like I don't like for me, I'm not hyped up. It wasn't for me. I don't. Is this their summer presentation?
So,
I hope not.
Juice was trying to tell me there was no full evidence that this was actually like supposed to be the rest of their year thing. But from what I remember looking on Twitter, this was supposed to be like some of the games for the rest of the year.
Because they've already said that we're not seeing any AAA games until next fiscal year, so I didn't expect to see anything big.
Yeah. So I was hoping that maybe like a second party something or a third party something that they, doing the Sony thing where they just take a third party game and make it exclusive because they bought out the rights for it for a year.
Yeah, I mean the ones that they usually use, Square is quiet because they got to recover.
Right.
Can't do Call of Duty anymore. I mean, I thought they were going to do a push with. They could have done a push with NCAA because it comes out next month, but
yeah, and they didn't. And that's kind of surprising too.
Yeah,
it might have its own thing because of it coming back. So they'll probably have like a 30-minute something trying to explain.
He ain't gonna show no 30 minutes on that game. I mean, he ain't gonna hide that game until it drops.
Right. Let's not show you the problems. Just pick it up and
he ain't gonna trailer you to sleep.
Real quick, what did y'all think of Concord?
Same game as Overwatch.
Yeah, man. That was like, man, and this is, and it's not, it's okay. So that is a problem that is just like Overwatch. But the bigger problem to me is, and we were sitting there watching it, and I'm like, why are you sitting me through this 10-minute cinematic that has next to nothing to do with the game itself? And then they initially didn't show it off at first. Right. And then they were like, okay, like, no, this is Concord. And then they show off the actual gameplay. And we were just like, yeah, this is an arena-based shooter. Like, what did any of that stuff before have to do with this now? Like, an arena-based shooter, for the most part, you ain't even gonna have a story.
You don't need no storyline.
Yeah, like what?
My only thing I would say is if you're gonna go the Overwatch route, you kind of have to do some character building, right? Because it's supposed to be a hero shooter, if you will. So my problem with that is, let's say, that first portion of it, you're trying to show us the character, trying to get us to fall in love with those characters. Then you show the gameplay. My thing with hero shooters is they're kind of played out at this point. And then with Overwatch, Xbox didn't take that from them, did they? I mean, I know they own it now, but they didn't take it away from Sony, did they?
They're still there.
So I get what they're trying to do because this is kind of the same thing we said to them about Call of Duty. Hey, take this time, build your own. So when it does go away, then you're in the clear. Like you have your own Call of Duty that's exclusive. You have your own Overwatch, if you will, that's exclusive. This could be that. I just don't know how much power they're going to toss into it because really, what franchise does Sony really pour that type of money into? Because I mean, I don't count the single player games because when they're out, they're out. You may get a DLC, but that's it. But let's be honest, these live service games, you got to stay committed. I don't know. I mean, I wish them the best on it, but hero shooters, I don't know. They've never been my thing. My son loves them. But you have to get invested in those characters. And then they have to be able to branch out. But I don't know. Concord, I mean, it's cool. Let's see what it does. But in reality, I really don't know. Sony isn't the best with multiplayer games.
Yeah, because they just showed off in that same showcase, they showed off the Marvel joint too.
Yeah, the Marvel Rivals. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had already, I mean, I was watching Geronimo, or I should say, Vito was watching Geronimo play that too for like a couple minutes, and I was just like,
no, I watched him the whole time he played it. Like honestly, I watched him both days he was playing, and I was like, yeah, I'm about to get this. I was like, hey, where can I get it at? And he was like, no, this is a closed beta. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Well, it's bought when it come out then, because I'm sure enough getting that.
So is it not free to play?
I thought it was a free to play the game.
I don't know. I have no idea.
But usually those hero shooters are free to play. Because they want to
By
get
it
you
being
in with the
Marvel,
season passes.
I wouldn't be surprised if they charge a little something by it being Marvel. Maybe like a 30
You make
something. Maybe
you
a
make it a
20
free character, or two characters, and then you got to buy into the full experience.
I don't know, man. I tried my hardest to get into shooters. I mean, I know I suck. Right? Let's not get it twisted, but I try my best to get into shooters. Hero shooters thing, I feel like it works better when you have somebody with you that you know that play. Because with randoms is hit or miss. I don't know. I mean, I'll give it a shot if I decide to triple dip. I'll give it a shot. I mean, especially if it's free to play, I would expect it to be, but we'll see.
That's what I was thinking
the
too.
Galaxy ripoff.
It was like as soon as they played that little like first part, I was like, are they trying to do some kind of Guardians of the Galaxy thing or whatever like that? And then once they went into the gameplay, down, I was like, okay, this is Overwatch. So now you're combining two things trying to appeal to two different audiences or whatever situation
that don't
even
fit.
To me, I don't think it don't fit.
And that make it even harder that they already got a Marvel game doing the same thing. So if you want a Guardians of the Galaxy, you could go get them.
I want the Guardians of the Galaxy and Overwatch. I'll go play Rivals. That's what I'm gonna do.
There you go. And then I would imagine that's on multiple consoles too.
Yeah, it is.
So if that's multi-plat, then that means you got more people to play with.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Hey, wish you the best. I wish you the
best. So I mean, like Ibbsters said, other than the Monster Hunter, which actually looked really good, that I always fall. To be honest with you, except for the last one, I've always fallen into the whole Monster Hunter bait, and I think Jack, you were kind of the same way. Like I know I'm not going to dedicate as much time needed to be able to play that game correctly, but every time I go in, I'll be like, okay, this might be the time where I actually do it. And you start off on a high hill, and you're like, I'm cruising, and then it's like, you're like
it happens like that every time because me and Jay were like that with Rise. Like I mean, I was putting in hours into Rise, like even to the point to where I got to I forget what I think rank 6, I think I was. So I was going heavy. So even when Jay would jump on with me, all it would take is about a clean 2 hits, and I'll put people to sleep because he's still like on rank 1 and 2.
Right.
So I was like, but Monster Hunter, much like most of these other games, it's an investment. Like you can't say, okay, I got 5 other things that I play alongside Monster Hunter. I put it in the category as an MMO at this point because there is no, okay, my character is this strong, so I'm straight. No, you got to okay, I need to fight this monster 3 or 4 times over because I need this tooth from him or I need this claw from him to build this thing that's so much more massive. And it's already bad enough you have so many weapons, but then you talk about like the different variants of that weapon. So if you look at that whole map out, you're like, okay, I want, I don't know, the horn, but I want the poison for it. So now I got to make sure I fight this, but then I got to make sure I have enough to get. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It really is a lot.
It's never ending.
It's never ending. And I still have Rise, but seeing this one and with the environments, and it seems like they're digging in even deeper with the monsters fighting each other, like being on some territorial stuff. So that's big. I just it looks like it's something that my ROG ally may not be able to handle. I really don't know. But we'll see. I always dive into Monster Hunter. I've been on it since the 3DS days with Ultimate and the Wii U, because at the time I would have people that would play the 3DS and I'll play the Wii U, and you can play them together.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's when I first jumped in.
Yeah,
that's when I first jumped in.
I first started on the Wii. That's why I first played it. And
okay.
480p visuals, where everyone else is on 360s and HD. 20,000 hours. I couldn't stop playing. I loved it.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
game was.
because that was Try, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah, Try. Yeah, I was sat there in my rubbish We Speak. Remember little We Speak thing there? Like scrappy coming out of it. I was loving it. I didn't play World. I couldn't get into World much. Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think I just played too much Monster Hunter because I played it like all the time up until then, and I thought I must have got burnt out on Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I got back into it with Rise, but I didn't get Sunbreak. I was going to, but when they announced it was coming out on Xbox, I thought, oh wait. But then it wasn't cross save. And I thought, I'm not playing another 3 hours. I didn't even bother downloading it, so I thought, no, I ain't doing that. If it was cross save, I would have downloaded it and got Sunbreak. But no, I'm not doing another 3,000 hours start from scratch. That's not happening.
No, sir.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you because it was close. Like they had it on a deep sell. Like I could have gotten Monster Hunter and also Sunbreak for $30. So I'm like, that's a steal. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's no cross progression on this like this. Like, no, I'm not doing this again. I don't care anything about them 60 frames at that point. Nope.
Right.
I'm cool. So, but yeah, man, it's an investment. But yeah, like Zodia said, it's a religion, bro. You gotta invest. You can't sit there and say, okay, well, I beat that monster and that's it. No, you gotta go fight him 4, 5, 6 more times to get that one drop.
Good job
get the
for
weapon
that.
you want.
Good job for that hour and a half. Do it again.
The drop rates are like really rare on some things. There's like 0.5% chance of getting it.
Yes.
You do one monster like 10, 15 times just to get,
And a lot of them had that like you have to do A, so it will do B in order for you to get that. And the drop rates on those would be so low, so you would have to do it every single time.
It was a bit easier on the Wii because you had like quests where you had to like target specific points of their body, like break the tail or like break the foot, and then you get like the foot piece. But the later ones, they stopped doing that. You could still break bits off, but it wasn't like a task to do it.
So I love that part. But I mean, honestly, I will say with Rise, it got me to try new weapons. I was always just dual blade. But then watching these dedicated YouTube channels of showing you the combos of the weapons that the game itself doesn't even really dig that deep into, but these YouTube channels like these, they dig in deep with the combos. So you're learning how to do them. And I think I fell in love with the horn for the simple fact that I'm doing certain attacks that will then poison you, paralyze you, possibly put you to sleep, then also still attacking. Like it was like, I'm like, the horn seems like it's a little overpowered a little bit, but if you work it the right way. But then even seeing the blades where you do like the slide down their spine with the blades, and it's always amazing, man. It's a great game, but that has to be the only game you're playing.
Yeah. So since most of you, the three of you, and probably most of the chat as well, hadn't saw the Marvelous showcase, I can kind of break it down a little bit. I wanted, part of me wants to show you the opening intro scene that they show, because like that was dope. Like I've never been a farm game person. Like that's never interested me in the slightest.
I fell in love with it after a while. I blame Vicky.
But they got a joint called, you know what? I'll just play it. I know. I'll just play it. Yeah. It's called Farmiga. Bowgun. That's I tried everything. Everything. Bro.
With that Marvelous thing, I turned it on, and all I saw was like some like machine, like claw machines ish something.
Oh the new claw machine.
I thought it was like 3 a.m. I thought I ain't got time for that. I'm going to bed.
It's a claw machine game.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was a claw machine. It looked like an arcade sort of game. He's on about like a prize window. I thought, what the hell is this?
So I'll say this. Ibbsters, have you been to America?
No.
Okay. So we here in America, for one, we don't have arcades like that. Like our arcades are not really a thing that much anymore.
Nope.
But for the places that do have arcades, 99.9% of our claw machines are those claw machines from the 80s. Like that old dangly,
trash.
like you ain't picking up nothing type of claw machine. Yeah. So for us to see this new hyper 2023-4 claw machine that looks so easy for you to catch something, like I'm like, oh my gosh, they didn't change the game with the claw machine.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of crazy, you know. I know most people are like, it's a claw machine. But it was so simple though. It was so simple though. So like it had like the 2 claws instead of the 3 claws that we used to, right?
Okay.
But it was just like rotating around in a circle, and all you really had to do was kind of just aim, like just time it right for it to stop, go down, and then pick up something, and then put it in the thing. No more of that dangly little claw.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Oh, is that too heavy to pick up with the yeah, no more of that. No more of that. So I was kind of going crazy over that. I know everybody else is like,
so they have a game dedicated to that?
Yeah, they showed off actually 3 things as far as the arcade, and that was one of them.
Okay.
The other one was a Pokemon Go game that was in the arcade. That one was kind of sweet though. So what it was is like you're playing. So it's like Pokemon Go, right? And I think, yeah. and it kind of randomizes like what Pokemon you could capture, and there's 2 spots. So like one person could be playing, another person could be playing. If you're playing co-op, like it looks like you both catch Pokemon separately, and then the dope thing is like the screens actually like fuse together and make one big screen, and then you catch like some special Pokemon, whether that's like a legendary or a shiny or something like that, and y'all go together and to doing like the fighting mechanic of Pokemon Go to be able to try and capture that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of dope, doing the whole screen and like fusing them to make one thing. That's Japan only though, so America's not getting. However, America is getting the Naruto thing, and I thought, like, I'm hoping that comes to a whatever arcade near me. So it's kind of in the same, a little bit in the same style as like the Marvel, or not Marvel, that Injustice, or like the Dragon Ball game where you have cards or whatever.
Heroes,
yeah, but it's a little bit different because you place the card on like a touch screen, if you will, and it visualizes it, and it's actually a card game. So like you slide, in who your character is next, who's going to attack, and slide around. You can all see that visually on the screen, but it's like the same as, it's almost like the Wii U. You know what I'm saying? Like the touch screen with the top screen. So I thought that was cool. So, but this intro here, I was saying this intro with this game, I really need an anime from this, because I really need to see this. So we'll watch this real quick.
That's not what I expected. Okay.
Neither did I.
I'm still confused as into what I'm playing. It's like cards, but then farm, but then.
Yeah, so it threw me off at first too. So from what it's looking like is like you farm your like partner. So you're gonna have a partner. It's almost like Tamagotchi. You remember Tamagotchi back in the day?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Almost like that. Like you raise it from an egg, but they're like farmed or whatever, along with gems and all that other stuff. And then you raise them and they become your sidekicks, and then you go out into the world and you fight. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna need a show to this. Like you're gonna have to show
We
me.
came a long way from Harvest Moon. Glad
Right. That's why that's why I'm like, this is a farming game, because this is
Jeez.
I don't even like farming games, but I've seen that dragon. And I think I might want that on my team.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, because I've seen so many different farming games, especially because Vicky mentions a lot of them, and they're trying to be so much more than just, hey, seasons, I'm farming, blah blah blah. Like a lot of them, especially when you look at Stardew Valley, it got into relationships, exploration, monsters, and things of that nature. And then you see some more that pop up that really get into like mining and really about monster building and doing the farming and seasons and this and like it. They try to advance it. It's just sometimes it seems a little crazy.
Right. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well,
So I mean, they showed off some other little games as well. There was a Rune Factory, and there's like, it's not like a new Rune Factory, but it's like Rune Factory 0.5, but like now it's like an action game where you're going around and doing combos and stuff like that, as well as farming. So that's different.
wow.
But they finished off. Let me go ahead and pull it out again. They finished off showing off the sequel to this game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was but they only showed like a little cinematic. They didn't actually show off the gameplay. They said more to come, so kind of thinking that's gonna probably be, we were thinking hopefully a Tokyo Game Show. But Vito, this game is reminiscent of, well, before it came out, this was like the spiritual successor to the Armored Core games.
Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. So they showed off the second one to this. I'm really hoping that they do like cross saves, or at least keep your dolls that you had in this game, and you can transfer them over to the next game.
Right.
How they showed off that cinematic, that trailer for that. Somebody really did messed up the world. Somebody did really messed up the world.
Wow.
So yeah, but we'll see.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the sequel to that. I really didn't.
Neither did I. And I think at a direct, they just like shot the title like Daemon X Machina 2,
right,
and left it at that. So it was cool to kind of see that at the end. Overall, I think their showcase was definitely better than the PlayStation showcase. I'll say that.
Jeez.
Definitely better than that.
They gotta have something.
Yeah. But it was a good showcase overall. So now we're getting into our main topic, which is let's talk about Switch 2. We're going to talk about Switch 2 life. That's why we have Ibbsters on. I know he wanted to discuss some Switch 2 stuff with us. So Ibbsters, before we like dive, yeah, super Nintendo
Switch.
Yeah. Did you want to throw out any questions or any train of thoughts or mine? No? Okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. So switch to electric. Yeah. Oh, side
Right.
note. I wanted to throw this out real quick. Ibbsters, but I like the dope Pengu shirt. That's Didn't think I knew about that. Yeah, we got that over here in America.
Yeah. How you say it?
Yeah,
I've never heard it said that way before, but yeah, that was quite. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was big. I used to love it as a kid. You know what I mean?
My son used to watch that when he was younger all the time.
Yeah.
And like,
I
what do you
watched
want?
a clip of it the other day, and I thought, why did I watch this? It's just like so random.
It is. It's funny though. Exodia says State of Play was doo-doo. Yeah.
Dang, boy, y'all really hated that show.
I mean, they got so somebody was saying to me that there's a difference between State of Play and the PlayStation Showcase, where the showcase is more of their stuff. So
that's why I was hoping this was just some kind of like just fill in until the showcase.
Yeah.
Because this can't be it. Because if it is, then
So is the State of Play kind of like a partner showcase, like a or mini direct sort of thing?
Yeah,
in a way,
I think so. Mm-hmm. I think they may slide in 1 or 2 games of theirs, but nothing like astronomical, you know. But like Jack said, they had already said that they weren't planning on throwing out any AAA titles, and the only other presentation that they kind of have is the Summer of Games. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley's love interest, I'm sure, will be there to show off what he needs to have. Gwen, I saw you earlier and I didn't say what up, but what up, Gwen? Appreciate you coming through, man. So yeah, that I'm sure they'll show off something. If anything, it'll probably be his logo, because we saw a little bit of the game he was coming up with next.
Yeah, that next one that he had coming up.
Yeah, so we'll see. But Switch 2 or Super Switch or Switch X2 or the ultimate let our powers combine Switch.
Right.
Ultra combo Switch. So
I'm calling it Nintendo Voltron.
Nintendo Voltron. Voltron. Yeah.
Voltron.
That would actually almost be the most tedious thing to do if it was literal, because Nintendo sometimes likes to be literal with their consoles, and you're like, you gotta form the left side, and you gotta form the buttons, and I'll form the right side with the triggers.
Oh yeah, confusing everybody.
Yeah. We got plates, so you guys can, and that's the reason. We got plates, so just in case your buttons are too small for you, we can switch them out. This is the ultimate Switch, Voltron.
I'm telling you, like even if they keep it very simple by going like Switch 2, they can flip that in so many different ways.
Yeah,
they could really go like have a marketing field day with just Switch 2.
I'm just so scared they're going to call it new Nintendo Switch or something. You know what they're like?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. NNS.
Yeah. Do you reckon it's still have the click noise or like a variation of that? Or
I think it'll have an upgraded click noise. It won't be the like that we're used to.
It's
like,
more.
It's gonna have more reverb to it. It's gonna have like a reverb with a phaser sound to it, like. You know what I mean?
Or what if they let you change those sounds?
Switch
to this sound. Switch to this. Switch to that.
When you power up.
Yeah. I think that would be dope if you put in both of them at the same time. It was like, I am Iron Man. I'm
telling you.
That would never be.
Nintendo, remember I said it. I need my Skrilla. Need my money.
I
But
think,
yeah.
as a matter of fact, I probably take it old school. I would do the GameCube, like
Mm-hmm.
that final like, brum,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
brum, yeah,
Boom.
or
Yeah.
do the
Make it.
monkey.
Hey, yeah. Remember when you what was it the Z button? You hit the
The
Z
Z
button.
button, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
they can bring all that Easter egg stuff back.
yeah, that would be dope. So as far as we've talked like in spots about here and there. As far as the operating system, yes, I know we all want Miiverse. I know we all want
Yeah.
Miiverse, but as far as the operating system, how do you think they'll go about that? Do you think they'll just use the same operating system for ease of use? Do you think they'll try and evolve that?
Operating system meaning
Like
soon
when
as you
you turn
turn
it
on.
on, yeah, and you get that main menu.
I mean, if they do a Miiverse, it would be totally different then.
Yeah,
They'll definitely have to change it up, so it probably wouldn't be that what we got now.
right.
They'll probably like go into the
Right. And
Miiverse.
I'm thinking they'll probably do kind of like how Sony did, like the PlayStation 5 operating system compared to the 4.
Mm-hmm.
They're different, but they're the same at the same time. So
Yeah, because right now we get when you turn it on, you have I don't even want to call it a lock screen, but essentially it's like three things that they advertise
mhm.
on the left hand side, and then you press the button three times to get in. So to me, I feel like they'll make that a little bit more useful in a sense of I don't know, like because they're gonna always have it locked in a sense you want to put something there to prevent your kids from getting in there. They always
Yeah.
gonna think about the babies. But as far as like the UI in itself, I mean keeping it clean. I mean that's always been their thing
Mhm.
of keeping it clean. Let's not make it too messy because even though I like what PlayStation's done somewhat, it much in the same vein as Xbox, that can get messy fast. Like
Mhm.
it's just too much popping up in your face, too much just throwing at you. Yeah, I mean, I would love the idea of music. Doesn't really bother me if it's there or it isn't. Theme, same thing. I think they're going to go the route of what most seem to be doing, and whatever game you have highlighted, that's the thing that's behind.
Yeah.
I know on the screen. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, they don't seem too invested in putting too much effort in the UI, especially if you're talking about a hybrid system. You got
Yeah.
to allocate that space like sparingly. Like you can't just have
Mhm.
a whole bunch of stuff going on at one time. So I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be more of the same, just a little bit more clean, faster. Because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, yeah, it's fast, it moves around, but when we talk about going into that eShop is a freaking
Oh
nightmare.
yeah.
Um, and then when you enter, it takes forever for the cover
Load
art to
up.
pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they need to fix. I can care less about themes of music. Fix the eShop.
That is crazy.
Mhm.
Sir, how you feeling? What do you think about the OS?
Well, they're not going to keep it like it is now because all the backlash about themes and everything,
Mhm.
black and white, brilliant. That was great, wasn't it? What was the point in that, But it's like, yeah, I think they're gonna like, or at least have themes, don't they? They've got to at least have like just a bit of personality. It doesn't have to go overboard. Just like just a what do they call it? Nintendo touch, that Nintendo magic, that sort of charm that they normally do. Because like when the Wii U was shutting down and everyone was like piling on their Wii U's to download stuff and that, I forgot about all the music on the eShop.
Yeah.
I remember this, and I was there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's so catchy
You know what
too.
I mean? Like, it's just like it makes
I'm not there
downloading
long.
Kingdom a little bit more bearable. You know what I mean?
I'd even say I miss the little Mario, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, is he gonna hit 2 this time? Nope, he ain't gonna hit 2.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, I reckon they're like, not like I say, not go fully overboard with it, but just a little bit, a little bit of music, a little bit of maybe ambient music or something.
Yeah.
Themes, folders, it's pretty much basic stuff, really, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's go for like messaging people still. I just don't think they will.
Yeah, I think
they're scared of like all like weird people, aren't they? That's the
after the Wii U whole debacle, it's
swap note. Remember that?
Yeah.
That.
I think the only time that you may get away with having messages is for friends only. And they may even hunker down on that. Like you can only message friends that you are also friends with on a social media platform. Like that's relatable. So then like you kind of know them a little bit better. You know them more than just, oh, I picked this guy out of 2K and like now we're friends, They
make it really hard, wouldn't they? They make it ultra constrict. It'd be like so awkward that people will be like, oh, I can't be bothered with that.
Yeah.
We'll go on Discord anyway and that.
Yeah. And like, oh, we'll just use Discord. I'll just use Discord from my phone. And then I'm like, wasn't that the same with the Switch?
Yeah.
You're just using the stuff you're using an app for the Switch, but that was whatever. Vito, what about you? How you feel? What do you think they would possibly do with the operating system?
Actually, I don't know. I'm not too big on that type of stuff anyway. Like I don't mind as long as I can get into my games, I'm cool. But if they were to do something, kind of do it like the little me verse when you pop in, you know what I'm saying? You got your little like how they did the Wii. You know what I mean, I like that format. That was cool. I can't remember my Wii U. Oh, okay, yeah, no.
Yeah, when they all rush in from the little
yeah. But just even if they did something where they just kept it just simple and clean or something like that, I wouldn't mind. You know what I mean? Whatever they do, as long as it's not no like Jack was saying, as long as we don't have like a eShop situation when it's like you gotta like as soon as you click eShop, your profile picture, and are you sure you want to go on this person, and then you go to that, and then next you know go then you're waiting like this long period of time. I can do without that. But nah, that's the as long as they make it just easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine with anything. I don't really have like a nay or say, or, you know what I'm saying, how they do it. Just as long as it's easy and I'm cool with it. Actually, I do want to say that lock screen, sometimes that lock screen kind of irritates me.
Yeah, trying to be off it for like 2 seconds and then you got to jump back in.
Then you got to hit the little, 3 buttons, or, if you got a controller hooked up, you're just hitting that A button or whatever real quick. But still, it's still like.
Every single time.
Yeah.
I feel that. Retro. So this is funny. I brought it. So it's funny. Retro said best case scenario, Nintendo will go all out, and apart from black and white, they will add a great thing. Now, as I was listening to y'all, that actually kind of makes sense. As funny as it is, if you go back and you think about the iPhone, how many colors was there in the iPhone? Two. There was only black on the iPhone original. It was only black and white, or silver, not black.
Like a silver one, yeah.
And white. Those were the only 2 colors that you could get. So then they gave you the additional 1 color. So now you had the space gray, the black, and the white. And then eventually, you got the gold. And then eventually you started getting colors. So I could easily see them doing that. Now is that feasible in a video game world? Nah. But I'm gonna tell you, I'll be honest with you, I can easily see that happening.
I'm more satisfied with my system being something different than a theme. I'm cool
Yeah.
That. Like, if give me a specialty, console, which I wish they did a lot more this generation.
Man,
Because I mean,
I'm
they
really
were
mad
kind
I
of
didn't. I'm mad I didn't get that Pokemon one, the Scarlet or the Violet one.
Me
yeah,
too.
that one I slept on. Because they had what? They had what were the ones for the Switch Lite where it was like grayed out
It-
and it had the neon colors.
yeah, the blue.
Mhm.
I think there was blue and yellow. Blue and yellow.
Well, they had the blue and it was the Pokemon game that they came out with. Which one was it? Shoot.
Was it that Eevee and
Um,
Pikachu?
Oh
no,
yeah,
no, they did do one for those, but I'm talking about the one that came right after. What's the one right after?
Sword and
The
Shield.
first, yeah, Sword and Shield. So they did a Sword and Shield one. That's the one I wanted. But I feel like the light should have had so many more themed
Colors.
Colors.
consoles. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, that could have killed. But hopefully, I mean, they look more into it because I mean, Nintendo are kind of the ones that ushered this in. Where you talk about the transparent 64s and Game Boys and even like Sega got involved at some point in time with the Dreamcast, where they had like the black Sega Sports ones and the blue one.
hmm
Mhm.
I would definitely do it. But it seemed like they were kind of either super lazy with some of them, to where
yeah,
you got the same dock, and it was just more or less the back was the only thing that changed.
yeah. Right. The part that you would never see when you put it in the dock.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, I think the one that I was like, okay, cool, was like that all red Mario one. It had like the
Yeah,
red dock,
with the
red Joy Cons, red
yeah.
console. Yeah, it was pretty dope. But hopefully they do a little bit better with that. Things I could care less. I really don't care. I'm not looking at my home screen that long. I'm cool.
Yeah, I think one of the something that they could possibly do, I think that would kind of be cool is like when you pop in the when you turn on the system, it'll show you what games like your friends are playing. Like
Right,
maybe in like the bottom corner, you know how it has the home sign, and then on the left you got your three, your little news or your little notifications on the side. It would
right.
be cool if that home screen part was just shorter, a little bit smaller, and then at the bottom it had like what what games, and like maybe it's almost in a slide format. So like, first three people on your friends list, it'll show what games they're playing. So if you want to jump into one of those, you can click on it and like, oh, do you want to,
Pretty dope.
jump into this game or whatever. I think that would be really cool. But then if you actually go in, I think it would be kind of dope to adopt that GameCube like operating system where you kind of had like the floating bubbles almost.
Right.
And maybe that's kind of hard on the hardware, but like even just sitting there. And so like you can click on your games, or eShop is over here, your news is over here, and then like if you click on games, then it'll expand up. So if you have folders from games, then you can click on action. But if not, it just shows your list of games that you just want
Mm,
to pop in. And that's for just like a long, like a long hard press, not something
right,
that you're
right.
just trying to get in real quick. Because I think even in that original screen, if you just want to jump in whatever game you had on rest mode, you just click on the game and then it just bloop,
Hmm.
just pop you back in.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I agree with you. If there's like as far as the online and all y'all, as far as the online, like I definitely just to get that little quirky like
Something.
you know, so it makes you feel like you happy to purchase something. You know what I'm saying?
You happen to give them
Ooh,
$70.
yeah, like 30% off. Hey, but go buy this. I think that would do be a lot of help instead of that dead silence and that awkward.
Hey, what if
Uh,
they have an option where you can also like change your musics and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? For your
That'd
like
be,
start
yeah,
screen and stuff. So
yeah, that
like
would be nice
that'd be
too.
so
dope.
like one night I like if I'm playing it at night or something like that and I got like it set to like change like the soundtrack or whatever.
Hmm.
And I have
Hmm.
it playing like what's the little joint? Lo-fi, like little lo-fi or something like
Oh,
that.
like
Put
lo-fi.
something
Okay,
together.
that'd be
Okay.
dope.
but like like their playlist. So like it's lo-fi Nintendo songs. You know,
that's what. Oh man, that is so dope. Because you know how much you. Oh man, Vito, what? You know, it would be dope because you can use any of like Nintendo's because they own all their music, right?
Right.
So you can get away with like it being Halloween time and then playing like Luigi's Mansion music in the background. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some ambient Luigi's Mansion or Christmas time, you got like a snow level from Mario or Zelda, what have you. And they got a playlist for each of those. So dang, Vito, go
I got one that I don't think anybody really pays too much attention to. This is like a Nintendo wide thing, and they could possibly start with this system. I need them to get a little bit better about their times on when games release. Because if I can count on for sure if something is coming out midnight or the next day, Sony and Microsoft has it ready at midnight. Like if I have it already ready to go, Nintendo has this weird schedule. It's like first party are different from third party that are different from like second party. And you really are like fishing around of when this game is releasing. And 9 times out of 10, it's like at 12 o'clock that day, like at noon.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Nintendo does that. Like they're the only console manufacturer that did it. The last time I kind of got frustrated when it happened was when AEW Fight for Forever came out. I had already pre-ordered it on the eShop, was ready to go, had the top bundle, and the thing was the reason why I got the deluxe bundle was because you would get it early. Not for Nintendo. Sony, Microsoft, yeah, you got to play the game a day early. Not for Nintendo. I do not know why they do that. I have no clue. And then the release times are horrible, and they're never consistent. Yeah. So I don't know why they do that, but I would like to see that change. I hopefully that's something more on a eShop basis, so where they can figure it out. But yeah, I need that to change because it makes no sense for me to have a multi-plat game that I've already paid for, and you say, "Okay, cool, I'm gonna go play it," and then like, "Nah, you gotta wait until noon." Like, oh yeah, Brent, I'm with you. Yes, we did. We wasted $60 on that crap. But hey, look, they gave a fair shot.
It was a chance, right?
We took a shot. I mean, they got us with the no mercy. They pulled on the no mercy strings. That's all good though.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would like to see that change though for sure. That timing.
Yeah, I think. Have I ran into that situation before? I think with digital, I think I have. You know, like if a game comes out at 12 o'clock, like it should be downloaded and ready to play at 12 o'clock. But then it's almost like it doesn't go at 12 o'clock, it goes at 1 o'clock, and then you still got to download it. And it's like, by the time it's done, like I'm ready for bed, you know? Like,
there you go. And that's what I appreciate about Microsoft too. And I don't know if this is just a server thing, if they need to go like the Azure route. And I'm pretty sure there's something Shadow can talk about. But the idea of me having stuff ready to go, like even if it's a game that's already out, I can be at work and somebody's like, oh, we talk about games all the time at work. And it's like, oh, try this out. I can go right to the Xbox app. All right, cool. Have this downloaded for me. I don't even own the game yet.
Right.
Just, hey, have this downloaded for me real quick.
Right.
And so when I get to the house and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna buy it. I buy it. The game's already there. I don't have to wait for it. That's little things like that will send your console over the top.
Yeah, go a little extra mile for.
Yeah.
As far as we kind of talked about this concept, and I know this concept is gonna get deep. So
hold on, real quick. I can answer that question for you real quick. So look wise, yeah, it looked like it was okay until you play it. And the thing was, a lot of the content for that game got drip fed. And so whenever you bought the game, you had the understanding like they were going to release more, but their release schedule was kind of awful. And then even when you played the game, it was very very dry, hardly any type of matches you could really do. So it was almost as if you were playing a beta. So there's still things that are coming out for the game as far as the matches, like the Stampede matches and all that other good stuff. But as far as how it plays, the content within the game, they should have charged a little bit less for that. It just didn't seem like it was ready. So I mean, as a first attempt, I give it to them. Okay, cool, first attempt. But yeah, and then the fact that WWE 2K got better, it didn't help. It really didn't.
So as a concept, besides the backwards compatibility, because I feel like a lot of us just feel like that's probably just going to be a thing between the Switch and the second Switch. And we kind of threw out this concept too as well on the Winging It podcast. But how would you guys feel about having as an option now? I'm not saying that it has to be that way. As an option, them using the Switch as a Wii U tablet, if you will, to the new Switch.
I already told you how I felt about this one. Like I already told you, because honestly, for me, I feel like the Wii U was not a failure, market wise, for sure. Yeah, like when we talk about the market and sales and numbers, but concept wise, no, it wasn't. Now, was it perfect? For sure, no, it wasn't perfect. I didn't like that the touchscreen, would get pretty dirty. The touching with it, you had to use the stylus because really your finger wasn't going to do much. It wasn't multi-touch on it. But even when we talked about this before, even if they decide to say, okay, cool, with your current Switch or your Switch Lite, you can use that as a controller. Do that. That's a win, because now you're talking about I'm using or I'm recycling product I already have.
How do you feel, Ibbsters? How do you feel about it?
Well, I pretty much agree with Action Jack, to be honest. That's like whatever he said is pretty much what I'm sort of feeling. So, yeah.
Okay. Vito, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to be honest, I thought that's what the Switch was at first. When it first came out. In the first place, I thought it was like just another version of the Wii U. You know what I'm saying? It had the same function, but of course, as I started researching, I was like, oh no. But that would be dope if they do that. That's something I would expect them to do. You know what I'm saying? Especially with some type of backward compatibility type situation going on with it. Like, that'll be dope.
Yeah.
I'll enjoy
Yeah.
it.
I don't realistically.
I
don't know how, unless you bought the game twice, or if it worked as a Bluetooth or something like that to be able to attach to the other Switch, or if it was just, I don't know. I don't know how that would work, but I think that would be a dope idea too. To be honest with you, so the one thing that we talk about a lot on the Winging It podcast is how the rest of these Wii U games don't need to come to Switch, because they take a step backwards instead of a step forward. Maybe visually they'll take a step forward, but functionality wise, they take a step backwards because of the lack of the tablet. So
exactly.
Games like Xenoblade Chronicles X,
Deus Ex,
Batman, Wind Waker, like just to be able to, instead of going into the pressing pause and going in to pick out your item and then coming back out and pressing pause again, like it's all just sitting right there. So you just just slide to what you need. If there was a second controller for them, then I would have no problem buying any of those games for the Switch 2 over again. Especially knowing that you could set the Switch down on the side. It already has a kickstand,
Yeah.
It already has a kickstand for itself. You can set it down to the side and just play however you want. And if you really wanted to play handheld on that, and then you just got if I'm sitting here and I want to play handheld on that and still just be like pop, pop, you know what I'm saying? Pop, 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 pop. I think that I think that would be really cool. We were talking about it 2 weeks ago. I want to say we were talking about how Madden never came to the Wii U, which it actually did.
Right. It did. Yeah.
Maybe Ibbsters, you were the one who said it, or maybe Dark Void. I can't remember. But just having that games like those and having like a coaching mode, you know what I'm saying, and going through your your plays and all that other stuff with the second screen, man. It's just the Wii U, for as great of a system it is, it never really got to see out its full potential, especially with the second screen. So I think, and how Nintendo likes to like throw stuff back at your face. Well, the people who didn't buy it throw stuff back at your face. I think that would be a pretty solid move to be able to.
I would say, because even answering the questions about the technology not being there, Apple kind of does it now anyway. I mean, if your house is decked out in Apple, this stuff connects pretty seamlessly. Like even when you look at something as simple as like me having a MacBook and then having my Mac Mini, right? I have the two screens up and I have a mouse that's not Mac, it's a standard MX Master mouse. Easily, the moment it recognizes that two of those devices are there, I can use that same mouse to go across both situations. Like it is seamless. And then same thing with AirPlay. AirPlay is very seamless. You even have companies now that really make it work. You look at Quest, when you download the Quest program onto your computer, you're able to utilize the computer and put it in different environments on your Quest. Same thing with the X-Real glasses I got for my birthday. Like being able to use these systems is great. So now Nintendo has to ensure that Nvidia has an environment like that for them to where these things can talk to each other seamlessly. Because I mean, honestly, we've seen Android try it, but even though they're using the same operating system, let's be honest, the newest updates, there's probably like 5% of the phones that actually have them because they don't all update the same way that your closed off garden like Apple does. So I mean, I think it's very possible if we talk about them setting it up that way, and then even when we talk about the latency or the connections and things of that nature, I mean, for sure. I mean, it'll definitely be there. If you have Wi-Fi 6, I'm pretty sure it'll work better for you. If they do it through a Bluetooth connection, I'm pretty sure it'll work a little bit better for you. And once again, Sandstorm's lane, and not Sandstorm, but Shadow's lane. But honestly, I feel like it will be something that's very doable. I've seen plenty of companies releasing the like HDMI receivers to where, hey, I got this HDMI plugged into this device and then one plugged into my TV and they talk to each other wirelessly. I'm pretty sure with the type of money and tech for them to customize, they could possibly make it happen. But all in all, I mean, kind of like what you said, it brings a new level of play. And then Nintendo likes to throw it back in your face, like, hey, you didn't try it the first time, but here's a little bit better. And this isn't like the primary thing. Like we're not gonna force you into it, but it's something that you can do. And I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of developers when they're forced into something out of the norm. They don't do it. They don't use it.
Yeah.
We saw it with the Wii because that was the one and only controller outside of the ones that you could attach, but it wasn't the standard controller. And then even with PS5, I mean, PlayStation is very popular. PlayStation doesn't have to release anything and they'll still sell. But even with the DualSense, no one really does anything with the DualSense now for real, other than have like the HD rumble that's in there. We're about to see what I would hope is a great display of it in September with Astro. Hey, we saw it with the first Astro game, and I'm pretty sure they're going to show out with it again. But the fact that no one's taking advantage of it the way it can be done, and it's one thing if the first party company comes and shows you like, hey, these are the things you can do. Now you go and use your imagination. We understand they're not going to do it, but for the most part, when I think about things like sports games, that's an easy sell because that way with football, there's no screen watching.
Yeah.
You can't see where somebody else is picking plays. Like you said, coach modes. That's one of those things to where I don't think too many people remember. Head coach was a good selling game for EA at one point in time because people like to do stuff like that. I mean, you look at games like Football Management. That game sells and there's a new version that releases every year because people love the idea of, hey, I love soccer, but I also love managing my own club. I don't want to play. I just want to put the team together. So I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. I even look at franchises like Call of Duty that could use it pretty well. You look at games like what am I blanking on? Let's say
even like Bethesda or like like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, where you looking at books. The books could be over here and you can read them, or your Pip-Boy can be on your second screen.
Yeah, it can be your Pip-Boy. It can really be your Pip-Boy. There's so many things that they can do. I just wish developers would get more creative, opposed to just saying, okay, I have the brute force, let me use it to make it look pretty. But I've always been a believer in the less that you have to work with, the more creative you get.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things to where even with like the music, right? I always wanted to, when I first got into it, I wanted to have the biggest and best stuff. I wanted the best speakers. I wanted the best, DAW system. I wanted all of the best. But one guy in particular I ran into on YouTube, he was talking about how he did voiceover work and how he pretty much lived under a bridge where the trains were going by, and he still made it work. But by the time he got the good equipment, he was such a master at the trash he had. When he got the good equipment, he was 10 times better.
He was killing
he was killing it. So at this point, I feel like the devs would have done the same thing, because let's be honest, they're the ones crying about there's not enough power. And then in reality, there's no product turning out with this. And then now we're talking about 6 to 7 years for games to release because of development time. That's nuts. So I mean, at least dumb down on the graphics and get with the creativity. And see what you can do. See how you can turn this out. And I'm pretty sure if Nintendo says we have 150 plus million Switches out there, and we find some way to make this Switch be used as a controller, I can imagine the party games is getting ready to show up. Like, okay, if you have 4 Switch lights, pass the Switch light to all of your family members.
Everybody gets a Switch light. Get the Switch light.
Yeah, because I mean, you got games like that now. What, like Jackbox, they let you use like your smart devices, like phones and tablets. But I'm pretty sure if you have the Switch, that'll give you a better setup with certain things. But yeah, I mean, there's things that can be done, and you don't really have to count on people to go and get a Switch, because, like you said, there's 150 million of them out there, so somebody got it. But I don't know. I've always thought about it being more or less under your TV, still, to where most of the power is in the dock itself. And then, if you want to pull it out and play a little bit different, they found a way to seamlessly do it. Because let's be honest, a lot of people thought that Switch aspect, they didn't think it was going to be that fast. They thought it was a gimmick. So when we saw how quick it was, it's like, oh, okay, this wasn't just for show. Like, you really can swap in and out that thing pretty fast. So I don't know, man. But yeah, that's my feel on it.
So a couple things that I took from that. Well, let me read your thing first. What did you say earlier? Oh, people complaining about having to look down at the time to disjoin.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, I never. And Zombie U really took a hold of that. That was a psychological thing too, and I think they did really good with that.
That was fantastic. That was.
Yeah.
That was great.
Made you feel rushed, anxiety, like, dang, and I can't look around, like.
But it showed you that type of, like, adding that into the game made it 10 times better, because let's be honest, Zombie U wasn't that great.
Because you're doing that, you're trying to drag stuff along. You think, oh no, I can't do it now because the zombie coming. So you got to put it down.
There you go. Because I mean, it didn't do well on Xbox or PlayStation, did it?
No.
When they released it as Zombie.
No.
That part of it's missing.
Awesome, because you could like put enemies down.
Yeah.
And me and my friend played that for hours, and you like drag an enemy there, and it just appear, and that it was brilliant. We had hours of fun with that. also Burnout. Not Burnout. Was it Burnout? No. What was this?
Need for
There's
Speed.
a racing game, but Most Wanted. Need for Speed.
Most Wanted. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. That was good. That had actually a lot of new content in it as well. That was really cool, and it had like updated textures. That was better than like the older versions and stuff. That was a good.
Wow.
What I thought.
Yeah. I think, and you kind of touched on it, Jack, and that kind of went along with what you said, Ibbsters, is that when it comes to that second screen, like if you're looking at and potentially this is how you keep the Switch around anyway, is that you already have at least 140 million. I think that's at least 140 million Switches out there already. So just to be like, hey, you can use this as a second controller. For some people, I think initially they'd be like, oh, the Wii U again, I'm not touching that. You know what I'm saying? But for the other people who already have their Switch, they can test that ground without having to pay any kind of extra money outside the Switch 2 that they, initially bought. And if they like that experience, that now becomes word of mouth. Like, yo.
Oh yeah.
If you ain't got that, if you didn't have the original Switch, like now you really falling off, because now we on the Switch 2, and now I got that double screen experience. Like you might want to go get that used Switch, for $99 or how much ever, so you could play this game like this. Like this is where it's at right now.
I mean, people will go out their way to like add to an experience. I mean, because think about it, Switch Lites right now, I think you can get them for what used for probably like $100, maybe 150.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're paying $250 for these Pro controllers anyway.
Right.
The PlayStation Portable is $200 right now. So
and don't do a dang thing.
And don't do nothing. So I mean, at that point, you're kind of sitting there with a steal. I mean, I think it will work. I mean, I'm not saying every game has to have something, but if you said like, hey, here's enough games to where it warrants you to either keep your Switch or to get a Switch Lite at least, because I'd say, I'll be honest with you, like I'll get rid of my regular Switch and get a Switch Lite because it's more comfortable for you to use as a controller.
Yeah.
And then I would do it that way. And if there was enough content, for sure, like go ahead and shoot and do it. And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm all for it, man. I really hope they do something like that.
I kind of lean on to the idea of having this Switch to experience. I remember a patent, and I was trying to like shuffle through it while you were talking as fast as I could, but I couldn't find it. And it was before we even got to see the NX. So, and I remember this being talked about. I even tried to look it into my own live, because I think we may have talked about it some years back. But there was a patent for the NX where they called it something, where the Switch or whatever, there was an apparatus, and then you like the more you attach to it, would like boost the possibilities of the said machine or whatever. And like as I'm going back, I cannot find it for the life of me.
I think I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, Gwen, I think that's what you're talking about too. The supplemental computing device.
Yes, supplemental computing device. Yes.
I remember that.
So that's not to say that it could be a possibility with the Switch 2. That'd be
I think Crackdown 3 was supposed to be like the cloud thing that they were trying to do.
Yeah.
So where they made things explode and tear up within the cloud, which was
that was the secret sauce. Remember, that was supposed to be the secret sauce.
But yeah, there's some like features with the Switch that really didn't get used like that. Because you remember, I think it was like one of the Mario Party games to where you could put like two switches like in a certain way to where it would navigate through. They only used that maybe once or twice. They didn't really use it. I mean, there's features that they can really do, and as long as it's not like the go to, I think
Yeah.
that will save because people don't like to feel like they're forced to do something out of the norm. A lot of people don't like to learn new controls. They don't like to learn new stuff. So it's like, all right, this isn't the standard, but if you want to, you want the ultimate experience, like Sony told you, you want the
Right.
ultimate experience. Here, drop 200 something on this portable, and then drop another 200 on these headphones. You get the ultimate experience. I mean, even going through, for the little bit of time I had my PSVR 2, like that was no joke with Gran Turismo. Like I feel like that's the way you play Gran Turismo. But it's gonna cost you about $1,000 to do that. So it's like it ain't a cheap experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, since most people already have a Switch, it probably wouldn't be that much of a problem to
there
be
you
able
go.
to do.
Yeah.
As far as the most important thing about the Switch 2 is the games.
Yeah.
And Ibbster, how you feeling about the games? What would you like to see? Okay, let me split this in two. What would you like to see as far as the Switch and stuff like that? And what do you think will actually happen? Because oftentimes those are two different. Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to see more original games for it, made for from the ground up. Because remember the Wii when you had weird stuff like Zack and Wiki and Ibbsters and all this weird stuff. Oh, it was mainly because of the control method and that, so you had to do something different, I guess. But I won't mind seeing a few more sort of games like that. You know what I mean? Just like, yeah, just just a bit different. A little bit.
Switch only had like one new franchise, right?
No, they had a few. You had Arms.
Yeah,
You
Arms.
had the Labo situation.
Okay.
They had like this the snapper. What was it? Snipper clips.
Yeah.
What was the other? Shoot, what was the other one? Because they had a few games that people didn't pay attention to. They were smaller games, but if we're talking about like big IP type games, I don't think they did.
Okay.
Like forgotten IPs bring back, especially ones on 3DS. Remember, like Dylan's Rolling Western.
Yeah, that was a game right there.
Oh, you remember that? Like back, yeah. Remember the badges? You had to like claw machines. You had to. What was it called? Do you remember that? It was like a pink rabbit. It's like badges, and it's like a Nintendo made game. Badge Arcade or something.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Does that make sense? Does that ring a bell?
Because it sounds similar to like Rusty's.
Yeah, like a bit of an attitude.
Oh,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Brand Smith also said
yeah, we got a bunch of them we missed. Yeah.
Rusty's Real Deal Baseball as well.
Yeah, Rusty, yeah.
Weird thing like that,
I feel dumb now. Yeah, I guess there was plenty of them.
Mm-hmm.
But Gwen said, "Yep, that's what it was." You had it right. Yep.
Okay.
Nintendo Bash Arcade.
Full mode. That was good.
Yeah. So what about you, Vito? Oh, wait. No. Let me backtrack. So what do you think will come?
It's just like rinse and repeat, basically. They're just going to put everything from PlayStation 4 and whatever. And they're going to go for miracle ports again, and that's what's going to happen. Just take the easy way, I guess.
The games that you still haven't gotten from the PlayStation 4. Here's the other PlayStation 4. Here's the other PlayStation 4 games.
Pretty sure you want to play them again for full price.
Crapping on it all the time and stuff. I know what's going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen again.
Yeah,
it's the same as now, but better power.
The narrative will continue to get pushed. We were expecting more power from the Switch, but instead we got more PlayStation 4-esque games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Vito, how you feel? What do you think will come versus what do you think is actually going to come? Or what are you hoping will come versus what do you think actually will come?
Probably a new poking tournament.
Ooh,
I hope.
I was playing that at arcade a couple weeks ago.
I hope.
Poking tournament. I would hope they will bring some type of Legends Pokemon, and which we have a Legends coming already. But another one that's similar to Arceus or whatever. That definitely did capture my attention as far as Pokemon games go. Definitely need to do better on whatever Pokemon game they're going to release on it. You know what I'm saying? Like this last Scarlet and Violet. It had its issues.
It had its issues.
But other than that, probably like just a new Zelda game. You know what I'm saying? I want them to kind of expand on what they've already expanded on Tears of the Kingdom, which is kind of hard to top. But take us to Low Rule or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got to be a new world, I reckon.
Yeah.
Same up again. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely can't be. I mean, if it's going to be Hyrule, it definitely has to be a different style of Hyrule. It can't be the same world again. You know how many people would be mad?
They'd be pissed.
Yeah. We've been here 3 times already.
Like Low Rule would make more sense, you know what I'm saying? And then the aspect of like something being new, because I mean that's the biggest thing that I've heard as far as biggest takeaway from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They're like, oh, it's a recycled map, and I'm like, all right, well, I mean,
it is, but it isn't.
Spot. You know, it is or not, but. You added a couple more sky islands and you have depths, but at the same time, I actually seen the differences between like videos of like how it used to look like the Great Plateau, a little different than it did in Tears of the Kingdom than Breath of the Wild. So, but like I said, if they want to get sticky with it or something like that, the depths gave me and Sandstorm an idea that the depths is formerly known or probably used to be Low Rule, so it will be only right to actually bring us a Low Rule, you know what I'm saying? And then
that's cool.
Just totally flip everything.
Yeah. They can even get wild and finally give us the whole world of Termina.
I was thinking then redo Majora's Mask.
Yes.
The world engine. Just have a massive. Oh, I love that. That'd be brilliant. I was just thinking that then as well. Just,
give me the whole world. Give me the whole world of Majora's Mask to play with. Yeah, that'd be wild. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I love Zelda. So whatever they got next for Zelda, I'm in for it. Just the experience, and the story too.
And
Jack,
go
go ahead.
No.
Yeah, he still got to do what he said got to come. What he thinks.
Oh
yeah.
Right? Yeah. What you think?
No. I was about to say that's what I would copy and paste that over to that.
Oh, think it's actually okay. Jack, how about you?
What I think, I would say, they need a new IP that is asymmetrical to kind of go with this whole you can use your Switch as a controller thing that I'm talking about. Kind of like your what you call it, your showcase of how to properly use it, kind of like Astro. Because Astro went all out with the DualSense, create a new IP that really showcases, how you can actually make this work. You didn't do it with the Wii U, because let's be honest, Nintendo themselves didn't even really use
the Nintendo Land didn't.
No, it didn't do well.
Right.
Yeah.
I could argue that 1-2 Switch while not the greatest, it showed off all the technical aspects, especially the box, man. I'll be telling everybody the box is the one. The box is the one.
I don't know, because I mean, even with that, and I think it's because I guess it was the first iteration of
Mhm.
HD Rumble because Sony got the follow up, which
Yeah.
would allow them to do everything that they were doing. So I guess so. I guess One Two Switch was really showcasing what all it could do with the IR sensor on the bottom or the camera
Yeah.
on the bottom, whatever it is, and then all the rumble. So yeah, I guess, but I would prefer something a little bit better than One Two Switch though.
Yeah.
I think we milked that as much as we could, even with the kids. It still didn't touch like it should have.
Right. Right.
So,
Right. Right.
so I would say something to showcase that. I would say for sure, I would like for them to give their spin on a superhero type single player game.
Mm.
Reason why I say that is, yeah, we know Sony got Spider-Man. They're doing Wolverine now. I think Xbox is not doing anything as far as anyone is coming up because I believe there's like an Iron Man game getting ready to be made. So
Yeah.
everybody's utilizing Marvel. I feel like
Right.
Nintendo is the only company that truly has the creativity to say, "Hey, here's a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's make that happen. It doesn't have to be Marvel. It doesn't have to be Marvel like. Doesn't need to be connected to anything to where they really could just do their own spin on Marvel. I think that would be huge for them because we can see it like Wonderful 101 in a way because I mean it was like the way Platinum did it. It was cool because you had like your Wonder Reds and Wonder
Mm-hmm.
Whites and stuff like that, but it didn't really go into that superhero aspect that I'm thinking of the whole single player, one person building the story, figuring out who that person is, building the world around them, the enemies, whole 9 yards. Like I think Wonderful 101 is a good game. I love that game. Um, but it's more simplistic than what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what route they would go with that, whether it be a flying superhero or someone that's a little bit more basic like Spider-Man or Batman or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. But I think Nintendo will do a great job on being creative of making a superhero. And then that way it kind of gives them that slot of, hey, we got our single player superhero that people apparently are falling in love with. We love the Arkham games, love Spider-Man games whenever they finally got Insomniac finally got their hands on them. And yeah, Smash Ultimate Avengers, that'd be crazy. But I think that'll be their good spin. So the asymmetrical game, a superhero game. I would also say something that I feel like they should do. Um, uh, I think I'll stop right there on the game front. I think
Mm-hmm.
as far as what I think they should do. Now going into what I think they will do, I think they're gonna go touch a Mario Kart immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna go to 9. I think they're gonna call it something different. Because I think they're gonna see the success from Disney's Speedstorm
Mm-hmm.
and kind of how multiverse and everybody's kind of just bringing everybody in and the success they had with Smash, just do it with Kart. Just go
Yeah.
ahead and get it out of the way.
Might as well.
Um,
Link is already there.
it already there. Like just
And the
just call it
split
a day.
and the Splatoon kids.
Right. And then the arcade version of Mario Kart is killing
Mm-hmm.
Mario Kart 8. Like Mario Kart 8 has sold amazing and it's a good game. Even with the DLC, it's a great game. But just playing the arcade version, just from a standpoint of having an announcer, makes that game 10 times
Mm-hmm.
better. Like that they could do that, and I know people have made hints at the little flowers from Wonder being the announcers. Instead of having Toad's annoying voice behind
Oh, the
being the
Lumas.
announcer. Yeah.
That
So I feel
depressing
like
one.
oh yeah, they can definitely have them as the announcer. Um, I feel like they'll take another stab at Arms because the same way that people clown Splatoon 1 when it was on the Wii U, 2 came out and killed. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like Arms should get another shot. 100%. Always got to say, I know my Donkey Kong will be there. He'll get his another shot at 3D. Like Donkey Kong gonna be there. If not, Nintendo, we gotta talk. If there's no, I don't want to see another 2D DK until I see a 3D DK. I need. It's time. It's time. But other than that, I think we will get another Mario. Now, what I'm worried about is they explored with what was it, Bowser's Fury.
Mm-hmm.
They explored with just kind of being able to go wherever you want to go, and not really going from level to level. I don't know what the reception was to that, so I think they may actually explore that with this next one. And to be honest with you, with Bowser's Fury, I was not a big fan of that. I didn't care for that. Like, I knew people that loved it. Like, oh, I can just go to this ice level and then I can just hop on the thing to go here and da da da. I did not like that at all. Because I think it took a lot of the platforming out of it.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, I'm a big platformer, so that's why Astro even caught my attention. I'm a big platformer. Celeste was a big game for me. At the time was a big game. So I hope they don't go that route, but I feel like Mario, DK, Arms 2, Mario Kart, and yeah, I think that'll be what they give us outside of Metroid Prime 4 should be right around the corner too.
Can I just add something?
Yeah,
I'd like to see them bring back Pilot Wings.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They can do so much more with it.
Crappy 3DS demo Pilot Wings.
Oh, the resorty looking.
Yeah.
Like N64, like proper cool, like Pilot Wings.
Yeah.
Was that our last one? The 3DS?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there wasn't a Wii U one.
Okay.
With what's her name? I can't remember what her name was. Is it Robin? The one who's got the
green one.
She's got like the the sexy voice. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that one. Yeah, we definitely need a 3D Donkey Kong. I think that definitely needs to happen. Especially because Donkey Kong is a game that can make for a really good 3D platforming open world ish type game.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's a matter of when and how they want to tackle it than it is if it's coming or not. With Mario, I think you're kind of right, Jack. Especially with the movie had just come out not too long ago, and they kind of explored each of those spots and made all those worlds now like, okay, this is one world and they're all connected. So you should be able to move, to and from each of these worlds in an open aspect. Which I'll agree with you really sucks because that's what made Mario in the first place, right? The fun is exploring those different worlds but separate from each other instead of being all together. For you to just be like, dang, you know what? I'm on this ice level. I can just run back real quick and go grab this Yoshi Zelda style instead of being like, let me exit out of this level and go back and grab this Yoshi and then hop forward. Yeah, I can definitely see that, like the appeal not being as much. So Mario isn't meant for a Zelda like experience, at least not to me. So I definitely agree with you on that. As far as like the franchises, yeah, I see an Arms 2 coming. Like you guys have said. Would definitely love that Pokken 2, man. I would definitely love that.
That'd be crazy.
Especially because technically speaking, Pikachu is no longer like the mascot. Now it's like new sassy arms folded with the captain hat Pikachu. So just throwing him in there like as an update or whatever, I think that would be dope. What is going to happen? As far as software goes, I think Esther, I think you nailed it on the head. As much as the consumers or us like Nintendo fans and stuff like that are like, want to see what's coming next for the Switch. The bias is just so heavy as far as developers to me that I don't think that like they'll be like, oh, you know what? Like this is finally good enough to run Grand Theft Auto 5. And then the next month Grand Theft Auto 6 will come out and you won't see it on the Switch. I think the same thing with the final. Well, Square Enix has now kind of changed their tune. They're kind of like put it on everything. Everything. We need the money. We need the money. Yeah. Put it everywhere. Everything we got. So I think as far as them, you'll finally, I don't know about day and date, but you'll finally get the Final Fantasies and stuff like that. Expect 16. I definitely think 16 will finally come over there.
You think they shot themselves in the foot with a deal that we don't know about?
Square Enix?
Yeah.
Yes. I think I think it's kind of gotten to the point where like that money is hemorrhaging so badly that they have to, because remember, like not too long ago they sold off what is it? Like the Tomb Raiders and all that other stuff. So like I don't think 16 is selling like they wanted it to, and they spent all the money for it. I mean, obviously, Final Fantasy VII is only on one platform, and I can only imagine how much they put out for that. And they got to have like 50 billion chapters for that one game. So, so I think it's just getting bad to the point where it's just like, yeah, we gotta start pushing this out. I mean, they already announced that Kingdom Hearts was coming to Steam, so like,
but at this point, it's kind of a little too late. Like you waited too long, and then you put a bad taste in Nintendo's mouth with the cloud crap.
Yeah. And it seems like, at least with Nintendo fans, we are more likely to buy the smaller stuff than we are the bigger stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So like the Octopath Travelers and the Triangle Strategies, like those feel more Nintendo like. And those are, I think those always sold better on the Nintendo than they did on everywhere else. So just dropping those smaller experiences, you might be better off doing that more so than the bigger experiences. EA is still gonna be EA. We ain't gonna see a drop of nothing. It's wild that we haven't even gotten the Need for Speed for a Switch, and there's been 3 or 4 of them that's come out between PS3 and the PS5. So yeah, that's enough said on them. Rockstar will do what Rockstar does. Capcom, I think, will get the rest of the remakes. So like the 4 remake. Was 2 remake on Switch?
No.
Okay.
So you mean like from a cloud point?
Yeah.
I don't remember them saying. Hold on, right?
No, wasn't it cloud? Wasn't it a cloud version?
Yeah, I thought we may have gotten 2, but the cloud version.
Yeah, we got the cloud version. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we got that, but I feel like they'll probably finally release a physical version of that. You'll get 4, and then whatever remake they come out with after that. Hopefully, it's Veronica. I just feel like overall, I feel like a lot of these companies are just gonna be like, hey, and it's so weird though, because you see the install base of the Switch now, and like now everybody wants to kind of jump on the bandwagon, but they're still not like a whole foot in. It's like, hey, instead of giving you the new stuff, we'll just plop this old stuff in here, and either A, they buy it, and then we'd be like, okay, well, let's give them some more old stuff, not the new stuff. Or B, they don't buy it, and they're like, well, we really tried. We tried with all the old titles that y'all wanted.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen, I think.
Yeah.
It's just
and kind of it is, and it's like the easy way to get money off of people. And the problem is like these days, almost no consumer at this point only owns one system. Like,
yeah, it's very rare.
You own at least two, with the most. I won't say everybody does, but most people either own, like, Sony or Nintendo, or Sony and Microsoft. Well, rarely Sony and Microsoft. Nintendo and Microsoft, PC and Sony, PC, Microsoft, PC and Nintendo. Like, that's just how we run these days. So chances are, if you bought or if a game came out and it wasn't for Nintendo, but it was somewhere else, chances are you probably bought it somewhere else. Are you going to go back and double dip? The only time you would is if the game was actually absolutely like astounding and you just wanted to play it again for that I can play anywhere experience.
Right.
With that said, I guess kind of sliding into our next piece of this. Do you think so? My thought is, my train of thought of how the next Switch will sell is almost in the opposite way of how the current Switch is selling. So if we're thinking about it, the Switch, when it first came out, it kind of had like that sharp increase, and just kept rising until the point that we are. And now it's kind of slowly hitting that top of that hill. I think the opposite is going to happen with the next Switch. That is going to start like way up here because everybody already knows what they're getting from the Switch 2. And then those numbers will slowly start teetering off in the opposite direction.
I agree. And that's so, like you said, I mean, people come in hot because it's coming from the Switch. Typically, we don't stop getting cross-gen stuff until 2-3 years in.
Yeah.
Of course, Sony and Microsoft have blown that out the window, but typically that's not the case. But yeah, I mean, unless they have something that just keeps them afloat, like if they have a great release schedule, then yeah, they can stay afloat. But I don't think any of us expected the Switch to drop like it did. So it's like, okay, cool. The hybrid aspect of it, that's new for us. Now we have Steam Decks, ROG Allies, Legion Goes, MSI Claws. So now everybody's on this bandwagon of hybrid. But then you say, okay, well, no one had a Breath of the Wild, and that's very true. But what are the chances of Nintendo striking that again?
Yeah.
And the only game I could think of that could, well, I wouldn't even say possibly could do that, but they would bank on doing that. Another Mario Kart, if not Metroid.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Metroid, I feel like if Metroid gave you if they gave you a 4K experience with Metroid.
No, I can't see it. I don't know. Not Metroid. It's still too niche, isn't it? After all these years,
it is.
Like, all the time you get people like begging for Metroid, and then Dread comes out. Yeah, it's good and great, but I still think the sales are a bit disappointing with all the hype behind it and everything. So I don't even think, even if Metroid Prime 4 did come out for it, like a launch, I'd like to see it, but I don't think it would even have a quarter of what Breath of the Wild did. You know what I mean?
Of course not. 100%.
I'd like to see it get its Breath of the Wild moment, like a brand new open, totally different Metroid or whatever.
Yeah.
But
they have to go multiplayer because I think that's the only way the only way shooters survive is that. Yeah. You can have the best story, because even with Halo, let's be honest, the only reason why Halo was Halo is, yes, it had a great story, but people went for the multiplayer. So I mean, that's what it needs, because even if Metroid Prime 4 comes out and it looks fantastic. It plays fantastic. Unless you have a way for people to keep playing, and people now correlate shooters with multiplayer.
Yeah.
They have to show up and say, okay, not only is this Metroid Prime 4 with a great story, it also has multiplayer. And this is our way to showcase to y'all our online doesn't suck this time around.
How did what was the Metroid game that was before Dread, the one that everybody was kind of like harping on at first?
Samus Returns?
Is that no. The
3DS?
one, yeah, the 3DS. Was that
Samus Returns?
Oh, was it Samus Returns where it had the multiplayer? Okay.
Oh no.
No, Blast Ball. Was it that? That thing? That Blast Ball? No.
Yeah. Where you playing
Federation? You talking about Federation Force?
Yeah.
See, Federation Force was unfair, and the reason why, and this is where we always talk about timing. People were waiting to hear about Metroid, and they dropped Federation Force. So then it got dumped on immediately out the gate. Like no one gave it a chance because by that time, remember, we hadn't heard from Metroid for some time.
Yeah.
And then all these rumors were coming out. So then finally it was like, oh, it's a Metroid game and it's multiplayer on 3DS. Federation Force, what's this? People dogged it immediately. So I wouldn't say Federation Force didn't get a fair shake. Had it been named something different, it would have succeeded better. But in all honesty, I would say even then with Federation Force, you still need to go the Metroid route of saying, hey, look, here's multiplayer. You have different, Samuses. You have where people can play as, some of the other characters. You got to do something. But I mean, Federation Force was never going to be a good thing. But ultimately with this, if Nintendo says, hey, here's our single player game, and they don't mention online at all, it's not going to do anything.
It's going to be another game. Yeah.
No.
The thing about Federation Force, though, I enjoyed it, but, there is quite a lot of lore in that game. There's a lot more lore in that game than there is in, like, all the other primes and stuff. If you look into it and stuff, it's quite story heavy. So there's probably a lot of stuff in there that people don't even know about because they wouldn't even try it, So,
yeah. Maybe they could. Maybe they could add multiplayer kind of in that light, or do like kind of the what is that game for EA, the Star Wars game,
Mass Effect,
or even Mass Effect, yeah.
They should have went the Mass Effect route, yeah.
To be able to play those, so maybe you're not necessarily playing as Samus, or there's a power up to get the Samus suit, if you will. But it's kind of the Mass Effect route, because you're a regular person, not a bounty hunter. You aren't skilled in that kind of way. So
that means they may have to go back to third person, because I mean that's another thing too. I mean, it's the only time that game has been
on him.
it will bring me on, but honestly, I mean, if you say we bring this on third person, we have the story fleshed out. There's going to be some plots and twists to where, you might have some help here and there, but for the most part, you're a one-person show. We added multiplayer in there. We didn't make things so cryptic because like Ibbsters said, you have to go and read, and Jay say it all the time. You have to scan things to understand the life of Metroid, but most people are not going to do it. They're looking for the cinematic stuff now. Like they want it to play out like a movie. So I'm not saying go crazy, on like cinematics, but at least have the voiceovers from other characters, not Samus herself, but the other people, to where, okay, this makes sense to me. Because imagine Metroid Prime 4 comes out, Metroid Prime 3 came out on the Wii?
Yeah.
You got to catch people up. It's like they're not going to know what's going on if you want them to buy into it. So there's a lot of things they could do just off the strength of making subtle changes. And yeah, Gwen, you're right. Metroid doesn't sell like Mass Effect, but if they want to at least try to, if you're going to play that role of story for single player, you better go the route of a Mass Effect of making decisions when it comes down to Samus. And if you want longevity, you better play into multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty is not selling because of the single player.
Right.
People literally say, because now that they have the option to say, I can download the multiplayer separate from the single player. I don't have to download it. Okay, let me download the multiplayer. Don't really care about the single player.
Don't care about the single player.
You have to, and that's the only way Metroid is going to get off the ground. I don't know a successful single player shooter today that doesn't have multiplayer.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. And if it is a shooter of some sort, it also borrows another genre like RPG. So
there you go. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely
true.
Do
something. They got it in that Metroidvania doubling back. I don't know if that's going to play too well nowadays, but I mean they can try it.
Right.
I mean, it might get away with it because that's who kicked it off. But
right. I think you're right too. I think another showcase would definitely be Mario Kart, both visually and performance wise. Because most I think Mario Kart 8 is it's 59.9 frames per second.
Yeah. Not 60, sir.
Not 60 frames per second. But they eked out the extra power, so now it should at least be 60 frames per second.
But that's a game that warrants it. It's not something that you can play and needs to run at 30. Like it has to run at 60. That's a racing game.
Yeah.
But all in all, when you look at all the Mario Karts, I'll be honest, Mario Kart sell well, but if you go from console to console generation, there was always a better racer. There was always Crash was the better racer. Diddy Kong was the better racer.
Yeah.
So I mean, so they have to give more. I know it's always more accessible, but for me, something as simple as that announcer kills it for me. Like that was enough to be sitting playing that game and hear like Mario's coming back from third place and like it's going that simple. Something you can call out that's very, very simple. Yoshi just threw the shell. Oh, it just hit such and such. It works.
Yeah.
And you hear the crowd. It works. So I don't know. I mean, I think it will be a big hit. I mean, whatever they choose to do with it is going to be something only Nintendo can come up with. But
yeah, and sometimes they're innovative and it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. And sometimes you get Mario Golf.
Those were the fact that we were looking forward to those games to come back and they just threw it at us.
They were duds, which is wild. Man, I think that's probably the only game that I will never forget them for, especially is Mario Golf, because you had the most innovative controller that you ever had to be your golf club, and
there you go.
Was not that.
And it was not great at all. So, they dropped that on all the sports games. We were waiting for all of them to come back, all of them to be done by Camelot. And with the RPG elements, and they just dropped the ball on it. I don't know how they did that, but sure.
Send Camelot somewhere else. That's not. They're done for with that. They just don't put them in basketball. So, other than that, I think that's about it. We're at our 2:30 mark. I don't think I have. Do you guys want to throw anything else in? Any questions? That you want to add?
No, I'm good. I don't think. No, I can't think of nothing off the top of my head.
The only other thing I would toss in there is, when we talk about the Switch 2, of course, marketing is going to always be a thing. The games have to be there. I'm curious about pricing. That's one thing that I'm kind of curious about, and then kind of how they play with the SKUs, because Nintendo catches a lot of flack for not giving us a lot of memory because they count on you to go buy SD cards.
Right.
But just kind of going through this not too long ago with my son for his Steam Deck. Like, you have to understand these games are getting huge. Like Nintendo's
Right,
games may not
right,
be big, but if you're really counting on everything we've heard from DLSS and all this other stuff, like you gotta find a way to have some decent amount of memory because even a terabyte is not gonna get you far.
right.
Unless you just, you're one of those that say, "Hey, look, I played one game. Once I'm done with it, I delete it, and then now I have free space." It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to keep. So I'm curious to see how they run that
I
as far as the
know.
memory is concerned.
I know the rumor is that they were gonna have two 200 gigabytes. That's
Interesting.
quite a difference between. I think they gave us what 64 on the OLED.
64.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot for Nintendo because what they're like at compressing their game. You know what I mean? Like they could probably fit Starfield into like a 20 gig download if they made it or something.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
For them,
yeah.
but third parties, they wouldn't care. They're like, yeah, buy your memory card.
Yeah,
That's
horrible, man. The 2K18 like ate up most of my memory.
Oh man, then they get me
Ate
started on
all
2K.
through it. Yeah. So but like Jack said, is that they give you the external memory too, and I think they'll probably allow you to throw in like another 2 gigs, 3 or terabytes.
I would hope not.
Yeah. You only get 2 more gigs, right? Understand me. You only get 2 more. With the Iwata, please understand. You only get 2 more gigs.
Boy.
That'll
Yeah,
get you about a half a game.
Because honestly, because usually what I like to do is get a lot of base memory, and then if I can extend it, then I get even more. So that way it gives you a lot to play with. Because I think because the Switch has a cap, it doesn't go higher than 2 terabytes, does it?
No, it doesn't. I think 2 terabytes is
no idea.
And I don't even know anybody with that kind of space.
Yeah, about to say, I don't even have that. I still have the 128 in mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, like I said, these games getting bigger, and then I think the biggest thing that people are looking at is what Activision said. Like, okay, for 10 years, we're gonna give you Call of Duty. Now they didn't say old or new, but we're gonna give you Call of Duty. We know Call of Duty's huge. So I would assume you're accounting for that. You have to.
Yeah.
At least 4 terabytes, because right now I think I put a 2 terabyte in my ROG Ally, and it's holding me pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
For PC games, and those things are far from compressed.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure. But I think you'll do pretty well with that. But I mean, I don't know, man. I that's the only thing else that I would say that I'm looking forward to seeing as well, and then also to see what they do from a controller standpoint. I mean, they always go out their way to try to do something new with controllers. So are they going to follow up behind Sony with a HD Rumble 3.0, or are they going to continue to entertain these Joy-Cons?
I don't know, man, because they kind of even moved away from showing off what HD Rumble could do too.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's mad, isn't it? 1-2 Switch was the best HD Rumble game.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even Mario kind of like didn't really do much with it.
Didn't do much with it at all.
That blew my mind.
I think I would say on the side, one of the coolest things that they did do with Mario was that on Mario Wonder was if you turned off like the volume or whatever and you ran over the music notes, you could hear it actually play the music notes with the vibration. That was wild. But like outside of that, nah.
Yeah, I don't, because I mean at this point I would say at least the basic stuff that I would like to see is, I think at this point Rumble is going to just be HD Rumble at this point. I don't think we're going back to the motor spinning in the controller anymore. So I mean we got the HD Rumble aspect of it. I think they need to bring the speakers back, because that to me that's a lost feature from Nintendo.
Yeah,
Sony did it, and that's a secret killer right there to have speakers in your controller.
That used to scare me sometimes. Like, who's talking?
Outside of that, of course, the battery power. Please keep that up because apparently Microsoft and Sony don't get it. I'm about one of the only people that love the setup of the Wii U's stick placement along with the Steam Deck stick placement. I feel
Oh,
like
being
I'm
at the
on a
top
very
instead
short
of
list of
one
that.
top, one bottom.
Yeah, I like them being up top. But other than that, whether the shoulder buttons are digital or analog, I don't care. Um, but yeah, honestly, there's not too much more you can do with a controller or that you need to do with a controller. Keep gyro, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think we're good, and just make it a little bit more comfortable. I still feel like Xbox has that on lock when it comes down to the comfort of a controller. I still feel like they have it beat hands down.
Risky, how you feel? Or risky? I was just talking down, so my apologies upstairs. How do you feel about like pricing and um everything along those lines? Oh, he's texting. He's messaging.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I would say as far as pricing, what I would want to happen is them to finally really drop the price of everything as far as like the Switch and everything. But the
Hmm.
reality is that they're trying to make a family of systems
There you go.
on this, and I think realistically, to be honest with you, if they gave this all to us at once, it would be way too many SKUs and it'd be confusing to the consumer.
Yep.
Unfortunately, fortunately, the Switch has been out long enough for people to know what the Switch Lite does, which has been out long enough for people to know what the Switch OLED does, which has been long
Right.
enough for people to understand what Switch 2 would be. So the most expensive SKU right now is a Switch OLED, which is
50 in it. Yep.
Yeah. So you can either attack it. You can either attack this one of two ways. You can drop the console at 400, which would be wild because that would be the most expensive Nintendo console they've ever
Hmm.
dropped as a
Right.
starting price. Um, Most of us gamers now are not the gamers of the old, so that like, oh, it's blasphemous for a Nintendo console to be that expensive doesn't really kind of translate to that anymore. So being
Right.
400, I think is safe. Um, Dropping or 399.99. Let's be specific.
Yeah.
Um, what could happen, which would be okay for Switch 2 sales. However, what could happen is they're looking to sell everything still because this is a family, right?
Hmm.
In a way. So they could make the new Switch be 349.99 or even
Hmm.
359.99, $10 more than what the OLED is. Drop the OLED down to the Switch price, drop the Switch down to the Switch Lite price, and drop the Switch Lite down to the cheapest price that is on a console, period. Um,
I'm
and that
almost with you on that one. Almost. I would say 350 for the new,
mhm.
300 for the OLED. Get rid of the regular and keep the light.
And keep the light. Yeah,
The
that's
light's
why.
already super cheap right now. It is dumb cheap.
That's why I started off with there's so many SKUs out there already. Because that makes 4 SKUs in it by
Yeah.
itself, which is a
Hmm.
lot, even in a family. So I think you're right. Giving up that original Switch just to have an OLED and a Switch Lite, which OLED is essentially SWOLED, excuse me. The SWOLED
Swollen.
is, is really what the Switch is anyway. So just the more
Hmm.
powerful with the OLED screen. So
Yeah.
um, I think moving those would cause more of those other switches to sell than if you were looking just for your Switch 2 to sell. Risky's in here, and I'm trying to ignore
Yeah,
him, but I know he's
he is going crazy with the messages, isn't he?
Yeah, is Astrobar
Okay,
killing Mario as
Risky.
the next best
Okay.
platforming king? No. People keep trashing Mario nowadays. I don't know why. Neither do I.
Yeah.
Ibbsters, what did you say? Let's be honest.
I think he's honest. People.
Yeah,
Okay, so people really, really, really have to understand that's why the PS2 sold as much as it did. Like it really was it a great console? Yes. Did it have great games? Yes. But can we ignore the fact that it was the cheapest DVD player available? No, we cannot ignore that.
Absolutely not. People who
We
did
even
not
mentioned we knew
play
people
video games. Yeah.
people that did not play video games. I knew people that did not play video games that had PlayStation 2 solely for that reason. So it cannot be ignored, and not to mention crazy sales and price drops on that thing, especially when we got the little cheap one that you open up the top, the real slim one, the PS2 Slim.
Yep. You just push. Oh, I got it sitting right there. The one you just push a little button and it just opens up. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, not dogging the console by any means. The sales numbers that it has is warranted because once again, it served two purposes. The same way PlayStation served as a CD player purpose, but in the PS3 Blu-ray it is, but it has to be accounted for to where I don't think we talk about it being the number one console without that DVD factor.
Yeah. No, you're definitely capping, Risky. Nobody watched DVD on PS2. You definitely capping. Either that or you too young to know that life in that time, because that was a DVD player machine.
It even made GameCube go to Panasonic to get a DVD player.
Something. Yeah. I even know for a fact, even my own auntie, like she bought her kids a PlayStation 2. No, a PlayStation. But then when the PlayStation 2 came out, they all got GameCubes. But she bought the PlayStation 2 solely for the DVD player, so she could hook up to the Tyrannosaurus Rex TV. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
That's all it was used for. Like I think it even came with the bundle with the the little toy or whatever.
Yeah, the eye toy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that boy sat in the box.
Because it was super simple too. Because Xbox had the same thing, but you had to get the Xbox Media Kit to even watch the DVDs on Xbox because it came with the remote, and then it was like a disc and something else for you to swap out. So it was a little too much for Xbox. But yeah, PS2, you can just pop that bad boy in there and watch it. We used to do it all the time. Yeah,
all it good. Don't put your PS4 vertical though, because that just scratches up the disc.
Boy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Riz, I'm not even being bothered with you. And yet, we are still not going to ban you from the channel. Like I enjoy your silly little antics. They are definitely funny to me, man. But we're not gonna ban you. So you're definitely good. But we are gonna get out of here. We're at 2:45, so it was definitely a good, healthy conversation. Appreciate everybody who came through, even though you came late, Risky. We still appreciate you. Gwen Evans, thank you. Tradell Darsa Ryder, thank you, man, for coming through. Brand Smith, Dark Boy, Retro, thank you for coming through. Exodia. Let's see, who else do we have in here? I'm trying to go all the way up. Gwen, of course. Triple M wasn't here this time. That's interesting. Jay, appreciate you. Our newest and the of the moderators. What did he say? Something. Oh,
sorry, I wasn't here to handle.
Yeah, it's all good. He just showed up, so it ain't no problem. He just showed up. He was late to the party anyway. Next time he'll show up on time and then he can have a whole bunch of conversation.
Everybody who's still watching during the Nintendo Direct. That would send me.
Yeah, wait till that next Nintendo Direct comes out, Risky. Wait till that next Nintendo, and you can tell me about how Nintendo lost sight of themselves and how the PlayStation showcase was better than the Nintendo one, and it wasn't even their first party. Yeah, I'll be waiting for that. You heard it here first. I'll be waiting for that. So thank you, Ibbsters, so much for coming through. We really appreciate you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Jack as well. I'm gonna say this before I give everybody their spiel. If you want to come on the show, like Ibbster, this is Ibbster's actual second time on the show. First time live stream like this, but second time on the show. If you want to come through on the show and just talk with us, whether it be me and Vito, Jack, Shadow, any of us, and want to have a conversation, make sure that you get on Twitter. And if you aren't following me, make sure you follow. And if you are following, just message and be like, hey, I want to get on. It can be anybody except for Risky. I'm not risking it. All puns intended. I'm not risking it. But if you want to get on the show and ask us questions or even have a discussion, just make sure you just hit us up. What Retro say? You guys are always on when I'm at work. I told you, Retro. If you want to get if you want to get on, we can definitely make some time where I can do the stream earlier so you can hop on. We still haven't even had you on. We even had Clocked It on here, and we haven't even had you on. So if we could get Clocked It on here, we could definitely get you on here. Other than that, yeah, make sure you message me. Just let me know that you want to get on, and we'll set up everything so that you can do so. Before we get out of here, Ibbsters, do you want to say any final thoughts? Any final words?
Just thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, for
Hopefully
sure.
I can join a couple more in the future or something.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll see Juice one day or something. I follow you guys for years, so.
Yeah,
you're you're one of my favorite people. Like your whole group, So thank you for
absolutely. Maybe when the Switch 2 comes out, we can all have a big how we feel about the Switch 2 stream. That actually, I'm planning that. I'm writing that down. that's actually a good one. Jack, what you got up for us?
I appreciate you for having me on, man. As always, love coming through, having conversations, especially about future of gaming. When Twitter is just console war, to where you can't have any conversation. But yeah, man, and just make sure you follow everybody here that has a channel. Continue to show support. Appreciate everybody coming through. From a music front, was able to release what I would call it is just like a mixtape right now because I have something else coming up for it. But I released that only on YouTube. It's called Until Next Time, solely because it was based around me kind of disappearing for a while because I have my baby coming up and so much stuff coming up that I got to tend to. So I'll jump back on music a little bit later down the line, probably next year. But it's a mixtape that I released, and like I said, it's only on my YouTube channel. I didn't do it on streaming services.
It's on Music Grounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll continue to post all of that. But yeah, I mean, it's something that was get it off. I don't like to sit on music, so I was like, okay, let me get it out the door. But I plan on taking what this is and then adding more to it for next year as the actual album to put on streaming services. But I was serious about that, Sandstorm. I'm gonna come to you for like the 5 to 10 beats, and I'm gonna use them and put it all together.
I'm here, man. I'm here. I've been having fun with the new program. I'm here. I'm all for it. As you guys can see, this is Jack's Music Grounds side. He also has Gaming Grounds, but Music Grounds. That's where you can check out all the latest. I forgot this is widescreen. Ultra wide. I'm so sorry. You guys are probably like small. Yeah, y'all probably like squinting at it, and it's normal length for me. So like Yeah, that's my bad. But Music Grounds. That's where you guys can find Jack. As a matter of fact, can I zoom this? I don't want to.
Probably not. Oh, there you go.
There we go. So, for you guys to check out, so make sure you check them out. If you haven't subscribed to that side, make sure you subscribe over there as well.
Yeah, definitely love the support that has been getting. Especially partnering with TJ and his whole squad. They're releasing great music over there too, over at MSM. So I mean, it's a lot of good stuff getting ready to come out. I've already done some collaborations with them, and whenever they get ready to release, that's on their time. But already done some good collaborations and looking to do a lot more coming up here in the near future.
Okay, awesome. So I'll speak for Vito because he had to step out. I don't think he texted me, but he was stepping out for a second. So Vitoverse every other Friday, which is actually next Friday. No, what day are we? Saturday? Yeah, next Friday is the Vitoverse. So make sure you guys come over. It is Trey Vito is the host on the Vitoverse, and I play co-host as well as Nodoka Yui. So make sure you follow him as well. Let me see if I can slide. Where's my? There it is. Nodo. There he is. Right there. Make sure you follow him as well. He comes out with content every now and then. He has also had a kid, so it's been a little bit sporadic for him getting content out, but make sure you follow. So when he does start putting out content again, you guys will see that he does anywhere from live streams to the Dance Revolution stuff, which is wild. That guy's a professional at it. And I got rhythm, but I ain't got that kind of rhythm. And so, yeah, so that's for Trey Vito. Make sure you hit the subscribe because he is on the road to 300. I want to say going the wrong way. I don't know how to spell. There he is. Yes, he's on the road to 300. So make sure if you haven't subscribed to him, make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. We talk about movies, music, anime, and just entertainment stuff in general. And then over here, you have the Stan Storm Show that you will catch the day after, but every Saturday at 9 o'clock, where you can catch Jack sometimes, you catch Trey Vito, Noto sometimes, the rest of the Winging It podcast, Shadow, Jay, Andre, Vicky, who didn't actually answer back to me sending her this link, so she better not give me crap.
She will.
Yeah. Oh, you sent it late. No, you looked at it late. That's not my fault. It's not my fault. And then you can also catch me on the Jill podcast on Mondays, depending on when we have it. I'm pretty sure we'll have it this Monday, though, at 7 o'clock p.m. Sorry, let me backtrack. On Sundays, we have the Winging It podcast at 7 o'clock p.m. Moving forward, we have the Jill podcast on Mondays at 7 o'clock p.m., where you can catch Terminator Juice, who is the host, as well as Mr. T, Trinell, Robert, Retro, and Clapped It, and myself sometimes. And we just banter and we just talk about stuff. And so, yeah. Oh, and make sure you subscribe here as well, because I guess we are on the road to 500 as well. So when we get to 500, we'll be giving away a free $50 gift card to an eShop of your choice. So once we hit that 500, somebody will be the lucky winner, and then we can move on to the road to 600. But I'm letting you know right now that number is only going up to 700. So when we get to 800, you still only getting a $70 gift card. Like I'm not made of money. When we get to 1,000, that's still gonna be $70. I'm not made of money. So, but yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you to my guests. Thank you so much for coming through, and from Trey Vito and I, thank you guys so much. We will see you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.